Greetings and salutations, friends. No dev today, it seems. Nobody else has this problem. Everybody else has guests and co-streamers that show up on time. This seems to be a near exclusively Archian concern, doesn't it? Sigh. Right, well, we shall get started then, without the dev. The main topic of today will of course be the Trumpian trial, which I've been trying to look into a little bit, but you know, it's weird. It seems as if virtually all the available sources right now are from the mainstream media publications. It's been very difficult to find anything from anyone who isn't MSNBC or CNN or Fox, etc. Weirdly difficult, in fact. I would have expected this to have been a topic covered heavily by the alternative legal crowd, but no, not really. Strange
Hello.
Indeed. Hello, V. How are you doing?
Are you live?
I am.
Do you need a co-host?
Sure, why not?
Alright, let's do this. Until Dev comes on. When Dev comes on, I'll hop off.
But why? He's just a dev.
No, because I can't stay too long. So that's like a good clock. That's
I'm gonna just boost your volume a little bit. Alright, that should be good.
So what's on the table today? What are we talking about?
Well, I figured we'd start with something late to begin with. You might have seen this. Warner Brothers is launching their new women and non-binary leadership program to upend the gaming industry's male-dominated characterization.
It's suffocating. The male-dominating characterization is what I associate with AAA gaming nowadays. They're everywhere.
It is, but I kind of like this one, because first and foremost, so Amanda Waller, Deborah Wilson, like that is not Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller is a big, fat, chunky black woman. Like she is the personification of just a heartless, soulless bureaucrat. And yet Deborah Wilson, Fish-Eye Lady, looks like Deborah Wilson in every single game she's in.
You know how they complain whenever a character is hypersexualized and they say if you need fan service to sell, it's not a good product?
Yeah?
They do that with Hollywood actors now. That instead of hypersexualizing, they will cast like a famous actor or like a famous person because they're not confident on their story.
You know, and I really like Deborah Wilson has been in. I think this is her third or her fourth game now, and she always fifth, and she always just looks like herself. They never change her in any way. She just looks like she does.
Yep, it's I think like these people spin around in the same upper circles, and they put a lot of value on Hollywood celebrities. So they think, oh, we're going to put a Hollywood celebrity, and it will sell the game.
Well, you say that, but you know what's a little bit funny? I'm sure you remember the Mass Effect character, right? Mass Effect Andromeda, where you have a really hot lady, and she turns into this weird monster in-game. So
yeah, too many men in games. That's the meme.
Clearly, it's not that they don't have the technology to render them accurately, because Deborah Wilson sure as shit looks like Deborah Wilson in every game she's in.
Yep.
That's just weird.
Maybe she's got the face for their technology to sink in, you know?
Yeah, maybe the technology can only detect you if you're a certain percentage of Uggo, I guess.
Yeah. Like Deborah Wilson have you seen Atlas? You know, like in Atlas, that chick has to sink in with the Titan. It's kind of like that, I guess. Like you gotta be a specific type of person to sink in with their facial recognition technology.
I guess you do. It only reads your face under certain circumstances.
Yeah.
But what I thought extra funny about this one, so I'll give you another link here. All right, so in this one, there are 3 pictures, I think, relevant pictures, anyways. So yeah, 4 pictures, but 3 of them relevant. So this is the talking about the women and non-binary program for women, right? So the first picture at the top. If you look very closely at the Wonder Woman statue, you'll see a dude with a beard in the background.
That's the non-binary, yes?
Yeah, like he's hidden in the background behind Wonder Woman. He's kind of like peeking out like, hey, I'm here too.
Hold on, I think the one in front of Wonder Woman may also be non-binary. What is
Ah,
it, a
like,
woman? Well, that's
that
why it's non-binary,
guarantees
because you can't tell,
citizenship.
you bigot.
I suppose. But on the second image as well, again, the non-binary person, the one with the pink hair, is hidden behind another
Service
woman
guarantees
off to the
citizenship.
side. Like they've deliberately placed another chick in front of him as if to be like, God, dude, dude.
It's also possible that they find it cringe, and they're like, I don't want to be seen in this picture years later.
Maybe. And even on the third picture, they put a mask on him and put him in the background. Like, they seem to have... He's the only one with a mask. They seem to have gone, to some extent, to hide this guy.
You know that, like, usually when you take a group photo, like, before the photo, people do talk to each other, and they're like, all right, you stay over here. Like, can you go a little bit back?
Yeah.
You. Can you move a little bit to the left? Can you move a little bit to the right? I'm pretty sure they actually did this. Like, can you please hide behind the statue? Can you be, like, more to the left?
Yeah, no, ironically, I am pretty sure they were actually like, hey, you back there, could you scoot on over a little bit just to try and get him out of the way?
Literally, like, get out of the way. Like, I want to look good. I don't want to be next to you.
You know, it's really weird. In all the pictures, he's just kind of hidden or covered up. And this is the women and non-binary individual celebration.
Ironically, I think you're up to something. I genuinely think they're ashamed of this person.
Me too, like, cause he's the only guy who just looks like a guy. Like, he doesn't even look non-binary, he just looks like a man.
Well, I think there may be two men, right? Like, there is the person taking the photo, so...
Possibly, because even the other person you pointed out, like, it's true, that's a butch lesbian right there. That's a trailer lesbian. But even so, that I could see that one passing for non-binary, but the bearded dude with the pink hair is like, no, like, sorry, dude, I'm sorry.
Heresy's the question.
Well, do you think
Fire
it's like
is the
taking
answer.
the opportunity? It's like, well, it's free body. Like, all I gotta do is say I'm non-binary. So why
Well,
I'll
maybe.
shave my head,
Like,
put this unnatural color in it.
I mean, it's a leadership program, literally. The point of this program is, hey, here's a fast track to a CEO position, and some dude might have gone, yeah, I'll take
I
that.
think I'm going to be non-binary today. Yeah. And then it's like, oh shit, picture moment. Fuck. Like, I don't want people to see. Because, like, there's someone may question. It's like, why is this dude here? It's like, oh, I'll hide behind the statue.
Maybe.
Hey, Wonder Woman, can you raise your shield a little bit higher? Can you...
I really love that. Like, either this is just a guy
I think
who's...
we solved the mystery, Arch. I genuinely think we solved the mystery, right? So, like, if you do have a dude that's like, I want to be non-binary in order to take advantage of this program, and then they're like, we're going to make a group photo, and he's like, oh, fuck. Like, I don't want the gig to be up.
Yeah, this doesn't look good. I should hide.
Good thing I dyed my hair recently in this natural color.
Maybe. But, I mean, this isn't even the first thing that's been going on recently. There was also, I'm sure you saw this, CD Projekt Red did not only release their whole DEI thing months ago, but now they're giving paid menstrual leave for employees.
How do women in Romania manage to do it without the paid menstrual leave?
I don't know. How do most women manage to do it?
I don't know. But, like, I'll tell you this. If I was a woman and I'd get paid for menstrual leave, I would probably have the most painful menstruations in the world all of a sudden.
Especially when they say take as much time off as they need, whether that be hours or days.
It hurts so bad, Arch, and it hurts for so long.
Oh yeah, no, I would have crippling fucking menstrual pains every month.
Yeah, and it's like, and then they last for 5 days, Arch. Agonizing.
I just won't stop bleeding. What can I say? That's just, it keeps going.
And I don't know why, but I get them like twice a month. Like, it's 5 days a week, twice a month.
You go to the doctor and you're just like, wink, wink, hey, I've got these menstrual pains. Yeah, they're really bad, doc.
Even when you go
Twice
to
a
the
week,
doctor,
doc.
they're not going to ask for evidence. Like the cool thing about pain, do you know what the doctor will ask, Arch?
Oh, they'll just ask you if you have a pain.
Yeah, they will be like, from a scale of 1 to 10, how painful is it?
Yeah, and you're just, oh, 8
Oh,
at
it's
least.
crippling.
Sometimes it's a 9, doc. And what is he gonna do? Is he gonna like hook you up to a machine, like, let's check your pain level? No, he's gonna,
There
oh,
is
that
no
sucks.
machine, Arch. Like,
I'll
unironically,
write
there
you a
is no
note.
machine that can detect your pain.
Yeah, so he'll write you a note. It's like, yeah, no, Miss works not a whole lot here. Has crippling gender pains twice a week. What can I say?
I suppose, like, they can kind of find out. Okay, so the way they can tell if you're faking it or not, they know where the nerving endings are, right? So, like, they will poke you, and they'll say, does it hurt here? Does it hurt here? And then, like, your heartbeat, like, if you're in chronic pain, like, they would see that you haven't slept, like, you got baggy eyes.
Oh, yeah,
and shit. So,
you
like,
could prove it, but nobody's gonna go through that.
yeah, but if it's menstrual pain, there's no fucking way they would know. I mean,
Yes.
you just look on the internet and you're like, well, menstrual pain, what are the symptoms? And then you go and you tell the doctor that you have all of those.
Yep. So, good on you, Projekt Red. I'm sure this will not affect the release date of any future projects in the slightest.
Oh, I'll tell you what they will do with this, right? Like, this is for commercial aspect. If you're a woman and you're like 5 days a month, and you want paid leave, they will find a reason to fire you. They won't fire you for that. But it's like, oh, you've been late to work. Oh, no, we just can't have that. So we're going to terminate you because you're late, And you've been late like 1 minute. Yeah.
But then the woman could easily go like, oh, it's because I'm a woman, isn't it?
Oh, nonsense. We also have like 45 other women, and they're not late for work.
Oh, that's where intersectionality comes into the room. V. You may have other women, but you have other black women. Do you have other women with chronic menstrual pain, do you? I can keep my list going until there's only me. This is not going to be a very, very smart thing. Not to mention, it's also interesting how it's like, yeah, women are every bit as good workers as men. There's no difference, except for once a month.
Hey, Dev.
Speaking of once a month, I'm here.
Fat Canadian.
Did you have your period, Dev?
Sorry.
If you have your period, you can go to CD Projekt Red and they will give you paid leave.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid. Okay.
You know what? You can look, Arch. If you identify as a man, you can get paid period because you can say, well, men have periods too, you bigots.
Oh God, V, the guy we just talked about, the guy that hides in every photo. You think maybe he menstruates too?
Probably. By the way, Arch, before I leave, I want to show you something. It didn't happen this week, but it's really interesting. Do you remember Leisure Suit Laddie game?
Yes, from way back in the game.
Way back. Did you know that the developers had a way to verify if you're an adult while playing it?
No. How?
I linked it in the chat. They had the age question, right? So when you launch the game, it would ask you 5 questions, and if you didn't answer them correctly, the game would fail to launch.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So listen to one of these questions, because this is all politicians are A, hardworking, B, honest, C, ethical, D, on the public payroll.
Well, that's one way to make sure that underage people aren't in your game, I guess.
Heresy's the question.
But that is just one that I absolutely love. O.J. Simpson is A, an R&B singer, B, under indictment, C, embarrassed by his first name, Olivia, D, no one to fool with.
Oh my God. Yeah, I recall seeing these at one point years ago.
Yeah.
There was a lot of weird things happening in the 80s and 90s with gaming,
Look at this one. Normal is A, not gay, B, what Falwell wants you to be, C, trying to legalize marijuana, D, misspelled. These were questions like when you launched the game. You got like all of these, and you had to answer them correctly in order to prove that you're over the age of 18. And my fucking god, like there's hundreds of these questions. Like you could have memorized all of them.
Yeah,
Well-
there's no way that you'd be able to, like, even if you were over 18, you're not going to get all these right.
Yeah, like some of them I don't even know how to answer.
Maybe they had a gradient score, you know? You gotta have so many.
Oh my
Anyway,
god.
I'm going to hop
Well,
off
well-
now that Dev is here. So
Oh wait, no, hold on. Wait, just wait a second, V. You better stay here now. Now that you're out of the RP, this is now your weekly thing. You're doing this again.
No. Listen,
Yeah,
listen.
come
I
on,
only came here because I saw Arch lonely and miserable. Now that you're here, he's not lonely, he's not miserable, he's got company.
Okay, fine, but like next week then you got to come back, man.
No, just because I'm free doesn't mean that I want to have other obligations.
Well, why not? It's not an obligation to hang out with us, is it?
Dude, I'm having a kid, and I also need to make a video game. Like, not sleeping at night is not a good thing.
Okay, how long till the kid arrives?
Well, I think it's next month. I mean, give or take, because like sometimes it can come up early, sometimes it can come up like a couple of days late. But next month.
Oh well, you still got time.
No, Dev. No.
I was hoping you'd come back to the ArchCast because now that you're not doing the RP anymore, you know that you here's the thing. Back when we started, you had to choose one, right? This or that. And now that that's gone, I figured you'd come back.
No.
It was always fun with all three of us here, you know?
No.
You
No,
didn't
because
find
then
it
I
fun?
argue with you. I start screaming, and then the baby will start crying. So no,
He's not here yet. Don't worry.
not here yet. Yeah, well, it's gonna be here. Anyway, I'll pop off. Thanks for having me.
See ya, V.
See you later, V. Hello, Arch.
Hello.
Sorry about being 20 minutes late. I have no excuse. I was just asleep.
Well, that is an excuse, Dev. It's not a good one, but it is an excuse.
I woke up and I was like, oh shit. it's time, isn't it?
Well, we bought enough time with the filler topic, so
Hold on, I'm grabbing coffee just real quick, so I'll be back in a second.
God damn it. After the filler topics, we can get into the big, serious, fat one. Actually, no. We can do one more filler topic first, actually, since I'm imagining the Trump ones might take a while. We'll see. So, chat. It's that time
Heresy's
of the
the
year
question.
again.
Fire is the answer.
It's Pride Month, chat. But you remember last Pride Month? There wasn't that much coverage for Pride Month. There were a lot of companies that weren't really talking about Pride Month, weirdly enough. So a lot of people were wondering if this whole Pride thing was starting to peter off a little bit, right? And you know what? I think it might be. So we're just going to have a little bit look on Twitter for that, because I did notice that a lot of the companies, they haven't raised the flag yet, weirdly enough. Oh, yes, by the way, Sargon has been doing his usual thing in England, and the English media has been doing the usual thing around that again. Aww. Well, at least Sargon is having fun. You know, Dev, you shouldn't drink so much coffee. It's a laxative. This is the reason why you can't haul yourself off the toilet at any point. That's why you practically have left an indentation into your toilet seat. Fun fact, that is why Dev is actually moving, because he's practically ruined the bathroom at his old place. It's a tragic story, but a true one.
Okay, I'm back.
There we go.
Sorry about missing a bit.
Heresy's
Let me
the
just see
question.
here real quick.
Fire is the answer.
Yeah, you spoke about the Warner Brothers stuff, eh?
Yeah, and mostly about, did you notice the guy, the guy hiding?
No.
You didn't? Okay, well, let me bring you back to that one real quick. You see on the top picture?
Let's see here. Warner Brothers Studios.
Yep, well, they're outside the studio. Look by Wonder Woman.
There's like a guy with red hair in the back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, there's 2 more pictures with him. The next picture, he's hiding behind a woman. You can only see like the top of his pink head again.
Yep, I see it.
And on the last and third picture, he's wearing a face mask.
Service
Yep.
guarantees citizenship.
Why did they decide to hide this man in every picture, Dev?
Does it turn out that he has like a weird sex past or something?
Oh, I think it's just because he's the only one that can
Heresy's
clearly
the
be
question.
identified as a
Fire
man.
is the answer.
Oh. Okay, fair enough.
They gotta hide him a little bit in the background. But you can join us now for an experiment on Twitter, Dev.
What's the experiment?
Service guarantees
Well, you know how it's
citizenship.
Pride Month now?
Mm-hmm.
So that usually means that all of the companies have their profile pictures out, right?
Yep. Well, actually, not so much because last month they didn't really do it.
Yeah, no, they haven't. Like I was looking through Twitter today. Bethesda, who became famous for the meme that they had their pride flag in all but the Middle East, they've still got their boring little box. That's what Bethesda's got.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So-
Electronic Arts, they got nothing. Let's see, Blizzard. Blizzard's got nothing. But Riot Games surely must have. Nope, Riot Games too, nothing.
I mean, Nintendo has nothing, but I don't think they ever did. They never did that stuff.
Nintendo, even Nintendo of America has nothing, actually.
Yeah. So I was looking for this because I was in a conversation with someone else a couple days ago about this. I couldn't find the tweet. I still can't find the tweet. But there was a tweet I think it was last year actually, where it was like a very far left person, right? And they said that they hated rainbow capitalism because it was very clearly just tokenism and it was pandering to the left without actually dismantling capitalism. It wasn't actually revolutionary, So they hated rainbow capitalism. But now that rainbow capitalism is going away, they find that significantly more frightening because at least before, when the system pandered to them, even if they didn't get the full revolution that they actually wanted, they were at least safe in the short term. But now that the system's not
Service
pandering to them
guarantees
anymore, they're like,
citizenship.
oh no, we're going back to the dark ages where we'll all be forced into the closet and we'll all be beat up and we'll all be put into conversion therapy. And I'm just like, guys, you do know that 2010 was not this hellish dark age where people were not allowed to be gay, right? Like, things were pretty good in 2010, actually.
Oh yeah, no, I saw that this happened last year when people started. The meme was going around like, I hate rainbow capitalism. Then none of the companies switched their little profile page like, no, rainbow capitalism, please come back.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah.
Well, I just
so here's the thing, right?
find it, actually.
Actually, here, if you have something to say, go ahead.
No, I was
I have a side
looking
story.
looking
Fire is the
through like companies, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Riot, EA, Activision. No, nobody's doing anything. Like let's see, Xbox. I think Xbox.
Tidge says Warframe.
Xbox.
Also, Tidge, you're the collaborator, Tidge, because I know that you're LGBTQIA++, and you're out here scoping out the companies that are still doing it.
Let's see, Warframe. Even Warframe doesn't have anything. Oh, they have a tweet. So this is what I've noticed. A lot of companies, they have like a tweet with a rainbow flag or something. And often that tweet has replies turned off on it as well. In fact, let me... I found one example for Halo, I think, where they tweeted out the rainbow flag and they turned off replies. But normally it was also in like their... In their actual profile pictures, right? They made the rainbow flag their little profile picture. Ah, there we go. There's the Halo one. And I can't find anyone who's doing that now.
I mean, I think there's going to be a few things here, right? So part of it will be that I think people are just fucking tired of the virtue signaling. People are they're finally waking up from like the 2020 stupor that we were all under. Right, I think COVID broke everyone's brains, the lockdowns and the virus itself, on all political sides. This is not something that's unique, because I don't know if you remember, and in fact, I'm actually working on a video. Like, I'm going back to the month or two after George Floyd was killed, and just seeing how many people got canceled for no fucking reason at all, for stuff that like it didn't like they got canceled, and then when you look into it, there's just nothing there. Like I did the Skullgirls video. That was one example of that, where there's just nothing there. But he got canceled because that summer 2020, the left was going after everyone, and they had the most clout they've ever had, and now they're on the decline, right? So I think basically like now that the lockdowns are gone and people aren't so brain rotted anymore, everyone's going outside again. The world has moved on a bit from what felt like an eternal crisis. I think people are like waking up to the fact that things were just like how crazy everyone was, 4 years ago.
Yeah, very possibly, because I think this is more to do with last year, honestly, because in 2023, this was what we even talked about it back then, that the companies put up the pride flag for like a week or even shorter, and then they all disappeared. Because this used to be like the month-long celebration, right? And this is even less. Now, best case scenario, there's a tweet. And that's it. Nobody's changing their profile pictures anymore. Nobody's raising the flag anymore. And granted, it's still early. It's just the first. Maybe they'll do it later. But it seems weird.
Yep, I agree with you. Here, just give me just a second, okay?
One.
Okay, found it. Right.
Oh,
so here's what I remember. I remember Pride being a day.
Yep.
One day, and it was June 28th, because that was June 28th, 1969. That was when the Stonewall riots started. If you're gonna have a Pride Day, that would be the day. Okay, fair enough. You like every other holiday, you get a day. Okay, and you know what? If it stayed to a day, I'd be fine with it.
Oh, sure. Like, okay, you want to have a Pride Parade on this day? Go ahead. What do I care?
Yeah. The fact that it became not just a celebration, not just a single day, not just a holiday, but it turned into a month-long thing. And you can't have a month-long parade, so you have to have it everywhere else. Because if there's a parade happening in your city that you don't celebrate, you just don't go to the parade, right? You just stay home. If there's like a community like the Jewish community or the Muslim community or whatever fucking minority community in your city is celebrating a holiday, and they've booked a permit with the city and they have a parade that day, you just stay home that day. It's not a big deal. But when it's a month and you can't have a parade all month, you must have the parade march through everyone's homes by way of TVs and phones and computers, and it becomes obnoxious. If they had just kept it to one day, I don't think anyone would have any backlash about it.
No, but again, that was because it was being politicized. See, again, you can draw a clear delineation between Pride when it was a gay movement, just for gay rights, because I don't mind, okay, you want equal rights to everybody else. Sure, that seems reasonable. But then it became a political movement, and you can see this reflected in the flag, how it started out as the Pride flag, then it became the Philadelphia Pride flag, then it became the Progressive flag, etc. The Pride Month is not a gay movement, it is an LGBTQIA plus political movement. And that is why it needed to expand, because first it was a week, and then it became a month. And now we're probably going to be heading in the opposite direction. I bet you this year, the companies will put up like a flag for maybe a week, and next year they'll put it up for a day, and next year, well, they'll be lucky if they get a day.
I mean, maybe. I mean, they might just... Here's the thing. If the companies just, like, did it on the day of, fine. I don't care. If they change their logo for one day, that's okay. At the same time, like, I recall if you go back, let's say, 10, 15 years, companies would have, like, Christmas-themed logos that would go up for, like the week of Christmas or something, or Halloween-themed logos, Yeah. If they did that sort of thing, just for, like, a short period of time, fine. It's the fact that it spilled out beyond just a simple celebration and became this huge fucking thing. And then you had like the kink at Pride discourse, and you had everyone being annoying as fuck about literally everything and all the representation. Like, it became this multifaceted thing. So I'm not surprised it's going away. Honestly, a lot of the woke stuff is going away at this point because people are just done with it. They're done with it, and the left no longer has the persuasive power that it used to have.
Yes.
At least online.
because virtually all of it was based off browbeating, and people are just sick of it. There was let me see.
Yeah,
I think I put it in my profile.
That's why I made the video about Minifrego, because it's the same idea, right? Is that eventually people, like, if you're trying to force people to do something they don't want to do by moralizing at them, that only goes so far, and there has to be something else that comes with it. I mean, I think this is why Christians actually do it so well, is because they don't just moralize. There's something else there. But progressives only moralize. And eventually, you just say, fuck this. I don't care if you think that I'm immoral. I'm not doing what you want me to do. And then you hit an impasse, because then you have to either give up or fight.
And there's barely even a moralization. So I noticed this tweet the other day. And it's like 1994, 2024, Spider-Man saying the same thing, right? Now, I don't even agree that Spider-Man is saying the same thing, because I watched the original Spider-Man. There wasn't a whole lot of fucking talk about race in that show. But the point is, if you've been harping on about the same thing for 30 years, I don't care how moral it is. I don't care if it's like pet puppies. After 30 years of having this droned into your mind, you're going to want to strangle a kitten. It's just how it is going to have to be.
Yep. And I think for a lot of normal people, basically things ended after gay people got gay married, right? Because they already had the right to transition, at least after you're an adult. So the trans people are covered. Gay marriage, gave them at least marriage equality, so that's covered. I mean, what was left in terms of, what can the LGBTQ community not do that the straights can do? What's left? Turns out legally, there's not much. You can own a business, you can own a house, you can get a job, you can have whatever kind of sex you want, in private anyway. Like, it's the same with straights though. So like, the rights conversation vanished because they got all the rights that they should have. And then it had to become something that was like more nebulous, and then it became like this fucking runaway train, and now we are here where everything's being ruined, basically.
Yes. And we are slowly beginning to wake up to it. But even then, it's still very nebulous. Like, opposition to the left is still quite nebulous. Like, woke has become a negative thing, but not enough people understand precisely why it has become a negative thing. So that'll be the next challenge, because the why is very important to avoid the opposite effect, where we just go authoritarian in the different direction again.
I mean, we probably will, to be honest. We'll probably have like a right-wing equivalent of woke. I mean, it does seem like Trump's probably going to win in 2024, and then there will probably be the reign of the right-wing equivalent of woke for a little while. It'll be insufferable, but I mean, we'll get through it. We always do.
Possibly, which brings us neatly on to the big topic of today.
Before we move on to it, I know that was a nice segue, but I have to sabotage it now, just real quick. One thing that I mentioned earlier in this conversation was the idea that 2010 was not this dark age of repression that a lot of, let's say, very young gay people think that it is. Like, you find retards on Twitter who are like, I'm 14 and I'm gay. It's like, have you even tried to be straight yet? Like, you haven't even gone through puberty yet. Calm the fuck down. But you get like people who are 18 or 19 or 20, people who probably know that they're gay. And it's like, or they're trans or whatever, right? Like, at that point, you're pretty set. It's like, okay, I do actually like this sort of thing. So fine. But for them, they're like, oh man, it's 2024. If we went back in time 10 years, I wouldn't be allowed to be out of the closet. And I'm like, are you fucking for real? 10 years ago, 2014, and you wouldn't be allowed to be out of the closet. Like, a lot of these people don't know. Like, here, if there is a gay community, they certainly don't know the gay history of that gay community. You know what I mean? They're completely ignorant of it. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because I had to recently dig into this for my big Chugga Conroy video. By the way, everyone in the chat, go watch the Chugga Conroy video. It's 2 hours long, but it's worth it. It's an amazing video. One of my best ones ever. People are loving it, apparently. Those who watch it anyway. And I worked very hard on it, so please consider checking it out. But one thing that I point out is there was a trans activist. The main person who accused Chugga Conroy was this trans activist and this bread tuber named Lady Emily. Okay? And Lady Emily claims to have gone through a horrific conversion therapy experience when she was 13 years old. And that would have been in 2010. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, even in 2010, I don't think America had gay marriage in 2010 yet. I think that came in 2012, I think. But even then, like, there was no horrific conversion therapy experiences happening in 2010 United States. You know what I mean? They weren't like strapping you down to a chair and shocking you to make you straight. That shit ended in the 70s. So I think that there's what's going to happen now that the woke is being put away and Pride Month isn't happening and all this stuff. There's going to be a lot of fear mongering where they make the claim that we're reverting to a dark age, that basically it's going to be complete bullshit because they're going to like cite events and cite days and times and years that aren't going to line up with reality whatsoever.
Well,
but that's gonna be the next tactic. Is basically just to scaremonger about it.
It's not even the next tactic. That's where we are right now. That has been the next step. The constant talk about how democracy in America is dying because Trump is on the ballot, for example.
Fire is the answer.
Just 2016 again. Yeah, it's so stupid. And they are doing 2016 again. Oh my god, everything is the same as it was before. Like I don't know if you saw that one post, but like every single news outlet was covering Trump speaking after he got his guilty verdict. Or sorry, his guilty verdict, yeah. And it's like, you guys, and they're all outraging on the camera. I'm like, you guys didn't learn a single thing, did you?
Fire is the answer.
Like, this is why Trump won the first time. Because you guys couldn't shut the fuck up and be reasonable for once.
Well, to put it into an example just how ridiculous the situation is, this is an article in Al Jazeera talking about this is what the death of democracy looks like.
Al fucking Jazeera.
Yes. In case you're unaware, by the way, this is the Muslims' world's CNN, basically.
Here's the thing. Al Jazeera, unless you're talking about like Muslim issues or Israel or something, Al Jazeera, when they're talking about things that's outside of that sphere, they're actually pretty accurate a lot of the time.
Yeah, because they don't have a vested interest.
Yeah.
It's like, this is literally how, back in the day, Russia, was it Russia Today? Was it Russia Today? Yes, it was Russia Today, the Russian language news organization. That was actually a go-to news source for news in Europe because they didn't have an agenda in Europe. So they just reported on the news that happened in Europe. Now, of course, they do have an agenda in Europe, and so it's changed. But yeah, if you want decent news coverage, you're probably better off looking at other nations' coverage of your nation.
Sometimes, yeah. It's definitely one thing you should consider, for sure. Okay, here. I dug this up. I know that you've seen it, Arch. It's a 39-second clip from a video that I made in 2017.
The question.
So if you wouldn't mind playing that, please, I'll just mute myself while you play it. I already know what it says. I've got to hear it, but just play it if you don't mind.
Dev already knows what the thing he made was. Well, that's good to hear. Okay, I'll play it. This should be recording.
One day, Trump's going to have an actual scandal come up. Not rape allegations that materialize out of thin air, not locker room talk about grabbing him by the pussy, not hiring hookers to piss on Obama's bed in Moscow, but an actual, legitimate scandal. Something that should completely disqualify him from sitting in the president's chair. And you know what? No one's gonna give a shit. Nobody's gonna believe the media anymore when they run with the most desperate, most pathetic fake news pieces to somehow hinder the Donald. Everybody's gonna be desensitized to hearing Trump doing something ridiculous all day, every day. And whatever this scandal will be, Trump will get away with it. Scot-fucking-free, because the news media has spent the last few years crying wolf so much that nobody's gonna believe them.
Alright, I played it.
Well, there we go. So, well, firstly, I put this out because people are saying that like I had changed, I betrayed my principles. Dev's a backstabber. You know, Dev's like become a leftist. And I was like, hold on, no, I was saying this back in the day too. Like, my voice is more gravelly now, probably because I'm just older. You know, it's been what, 7 years.
The difference is, Dev, he's not going to get away with it.
I don't know.
He's not going to get away with it because the system is rigged against him. The only way he can get away with it is if he is elected president.
Maybe so. We'll have to see. But basically, I I've been thinking about this, right? Because it does seem like we're having a repeat of 2016. Because there was a joke. I'm sure you remember this, Arch, back in the day, that we memed him into the White House. That was the line on the internet, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of true. There was some truth in that for sure, but a lot of it was that like the establishment anti-memed him into the White House. You know what I mean? Like they lost their shit so hard over nothing that it basically lionized Trump in a roundabout, like, reverse psychology way. It also had the side effect of when Trump actually did wrong things, no one believed their reporting anymore. Because if you're calling the alarm at a 10 out of 10 for when Trump gets 2 scoops of ice cream and everyone else gets 1 scoop, what are you going to do at that point when Trump actually does something wrong? You've already pulled out every stop over the nothing story because you guys are retarded and the mainstream media is retarded. So they didn't learn that lesson, and now we're doing the exact same thing again.
Well, because it is the only thing they have been doing. As now we have Trump the convicted felon, which is being celebrated by the son of George Soros, who is giving out the party line here. Democrats should refer to Trump as a convicted felon to every opportunity. Repetition is the key to a successful message. Like, there you go. There is the entire mainstream media plan. And I've talked about this for years now. I don't care about how, good or bad Trump is. I look at what the media is doing about him. They are giving him 99% negative coverage for 4 years, for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. It is going to have an effect. And that, more so than anything else, is what cost him the previous election, which was, in essence, a referendum on Trump, where they chose Biden, who has proven himself a far inferior president. I will stand by that. As I will tell you right now, if Trump was still in the White House, we would not have had a war in Ukraine.
Maybe not. I'm not. I understand your position. I'm not entirely convinced of it, but there's something there. It's not like a completely out there position.
Yes, and we have now also seen this whole thing in New York is quite remarkable. So there's a lot of articles coming out around this. I tried to look into it. I actually had a hard time finding decent sources on this because Google and DuckDuckGo and every search engine I used just gave me the mainstream media. Like, it's completely buried in the stuff right now.
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. I've been following all the indictments, some more than others, and not consistently because there's like 4 or 5 of them at this point. But I've been following them for the past year. So I still have a collection of like older articles before this happened that you probably can't find that easily now with a search engine, but I still have the links to them, right? So I do know basically what's going on. Arch, you and I have had a whole bunch of conversations about this, and Sargon and V and Rags. It was all of us over the past few months because I've been following all these. And I've said repeatedly that the New York falsifying business records indictment was the weakest one of the 4. And that's the one that he just got handed his, was it 32 guilty verdicts on?
No, the full 34.
34, right. So, like, I expected him to actually beat that one, frankly. Based on the indictments that I read. And like here's the thing. If you look at the what was like forget about the partisan nature of everything, okay? If you just look at the actual evidence presented in the indictments, in the actual court documents, if you look at those, the Georgia one's pretty strong. The Mar-a-Lago documents one is pretty strong. This one was very weak.
Mm-hmm. And all of that,
this is gonna be the bullshit one that's not really gonna go anywhere.
All of that remains irrelevant, Deb. The strength of the legal case has nothing to do with the outcome of these trials.
I mean, at this point, it seems like that might be the case. We'll have to see. He is appealing it, right?
Yes, I believe so. I don't think he's announced it, but he would be crazy not to.
Yeah. So here's the thing. It was a jury that judged him guilty, and there's no way you're getting an impartial jury. So I think on appeal it'll go to a judge, hopefully a different judge, and then
Well.
and maybe then it'll be more of a fair thing. But yeah, the fact that,
there's points there to talk about too, because
Okay, yeah.
we should really get into this before we start making the assumptions, because there are a lot more, as V would call it, patterns that we need to look at.
Wait, real quick. Zero Kitsune in the chat says the Mar-a-Lago one was where the FBI got caught evidence tampering. No, that's not true. I know what you're referring to. It's not true. Whenever you're outlining evidence for like taking pictures of it for a file or for a case, you take pictures of the evidence as you found it, and then you lay the evidence out. Like the agents will go and like take all the documents and lay them out, and then take a picture of it, and that's just normal. That's you documenting what you found. The picture of the laid out evidence was what was leaked to the media, and so everyone started saying, "Oh my God, they planted the evidence. Look at how it's laid out." It's like, no, you guys don't know what's going on. That was all just cope. So no, that is definitely false.
So the first little interesting data point is Trump's immediate response, when he declared himself a political prisoner. And this caused the Republican donation site, which was, what was it called again? Something Red. WinRed, yes. To crash under the weight of donations, where it gained over, I think it was $800,000 over the course of like an hour or two.
Oh yeah. Isn't he at, it's been like a few days now, isn't he at like 60 million or something of just donos after this?
He has raised a tremendous amount of money, but I don't know if there's an official like number.
Let's see here.
And I mean, it hasn't even been that.
Here we go.
In
the 24 hours post verdict, the Trump team says they've raised $52.8 million in the past 24 hours.
52.8 million. Jesus.
That's wild.
That is wild. And this also came with a 6% bump in the polls, which I think has actually widened. The last one I saw, he was leading Biden by 16%.
And this is how it was always going to be honest. Because, like I said, this was the weakest of the cases, right? This is the one that everyone thought that he was going to actually win on. And in fact, there have been articles floating around from mainstream sources where they're like, this is kind of weird that Trump won this one, guys. Or Trump lost this one. This is kind of strange. Even, like, I saw an article from CNN where, like, CNN's legal analyst was basically saying, Trump shouldn't have lost this. So I think the fact that if it were one of the more solid cases and he took an L on those, I think people would, well, aside from the hardcores, your average normie person would be probably okay with that. But the fact that it was the weakest case, I think that is now changing a lot of people's minds very quickly.
Well, yes, because, again, there's a lot of things to look into here. There are a lot of strange things. So, a lot of people have been talking about how it has changed statutes of limitation and stuff like that. We're going to ignore that for the moment because, honestly, these are small potatoes compared to the rest of this. Let's begin with the judge, shall we? Because this is one of the big things. Like, to have a decent, impartial trial, you need an impartial judge. Now, this will also talk directly to your point that it was a jury trial and might now be passed on to a judge, right?
Heresy is the question.
Yep.
Fire is the answer.
Also, yeah, good luck getting an impartial judge because everyone has an opinion on Donald Trump. It's one of those things where you can't really get an impartial one.
True, but this one's in a league of its own. So, one of the first things that came out was that the judge, Juan Merchan, has given political donations to the Biden campaign, which has been earmarked specifically to stop Trumpinism and MAGAism.
Yeah, that's obviously fucking ridiculous. Like, this person should not be overseeing this case, obviously.
Now, to be fair, it was a very small donation, $35, but in cases like this, it is the principle that matters.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big red flag, and it's been talked about quite a lot, and the very fact that the case continued on with the same judge is weird as fuck. Because normally, even the hint of impropriety is lethal in these cases. Like, you cannot have a biased judge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if they really wanted to... If they wanted to make it basically seem as legit as possible, the best that they would have to do is find a Trump-appointed judge, basically. get a Trump-appointed judge to come on and then be like, even this person says
Heresy's the question.
that Trump is guilty.
Fire
Then
is
okay,
the
then
answer.
people will probably buy it, right? Because in fact, I think it's either in the Georgia case or the documents case, one of them is actually a Trump supporter, the judge, and it's still not going his way, which is one of the big reasons why those cases seem a lot stronger to the general public. This one just seems like a sham, frankly.
Yes, because it gets a lot worse. So the judge in question is not actually on the list of justices in New York City. He is a acting New York Supreme Court justice. Now, what that means is, because I had to dig into what the hell that actually means. So, according to just, like, the Google, essentially, an acting judge is a temporary judge appointed to serve in a specific court or position in the context of the New York Supreme Court. Acting judges are typically judges from other courts who are designed to serve part-time on the Supreme Court to address imbalances in caseloads. So, basically, this is the guy that is called in if nobody else is available, if they don't have time to do it, or if they are sick or indisposed or something like that, right?
Right.
Heresy's the
Yeah,
question.
this does kind
Fire
of
is
seem
the
like, hey, we'll
answer.
just bring in our guy for this obvious sham case just to ram it through. That's what it feels like to me.
Yes, because I looked up, like, the judges. There are quite a few of them. I think there was 173 judges
Heresy's
in
the
this
question.
area.
Fire is the answer.
This guy is indeed not on any of the lists of judges, so it does appear that he is a acting judge, and therefore, not a part of the system per se. But what is perhaps even weird, okay, he was appointed by Michael Bloomberg, by the way, just as a side note, I guess. But so he's a backup pitcher, right? He comes in when nobody else is available, right? Okay. He also presided over the Trump Organization case, the Mar-a-Lago case, and he also presided over the case against Steve Bannon as well. How the fuck does this happen? How the fuck does the same guy get tapped 3 times whilst not even being on the list of available judges to cover Trump and his allies?
Yeah, that seems pretty obvious, doesn't it?
And would you believe me if I said it gets worse?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, here is another thought. This might be so. Now we have a decent little pattern that something's weird going on. Well, his daughter is involved with the Democrat political opposition in New York, and citing the trial specifically, have raised $93 million for Democrat candidates. There is also, now I want to point out, this is rumors.
Hold on real quick. This might not necessarily be bad. Just because, I mean, if your political opposition takes a big L and then you fundraise off the back of that, that's just normal politics, isn't it?
To an extent, but again, in an isolation, I would agree with you. But in a case where the judge has been so oddly selected, shall we say, I don't think we can view it in isolation anymore.
We'll have to see if anything wrong has actually happened, I guess. Here's the thing, right? Like, would any of this be different if it were a different person in this position? You know what I mean? Well, I don't know. Because, think about it, though. Because if it wasn't his daughter in this position, the Democrats in New York would still have fundraised off of this big Trump L, and they still would have gained a bunch of money off of it. So, like,
they would have.
But they would have changed that she's in the position.
That she has direct connection to the judge. She has the potential access to inside information about the trial, and also the potential to affect the trial.
Do we know if she's done either of those things?
We don't know. This is one of those speculation thingies. But that's why I'm saying, if it was somebody else, it would be different. Because this is her father. She has his phone number. She probably
Fire
gets
is
dinner
the
at his
answer.
house. They spend holidays together. They talk, almost certainly. that makes it different. Like, familial connections should be very, like, in a political circumstance, this would be shady. Like, if your family members are benefiting financially off your actions, then even if there is no proven connection, it looks shady.
It does. Yep.
There was also, this is rumor, mind you, a rumor from Laura Loomer, so take it with the appropriate quantity of salt.
Oh my god.
That there was a payment of $1.5 million delivered to Juan Merck's daughter, Laura Merchant, home. Big rumor, but whilst this is not particularly reliable, I will say this. If you are fundraising for a campaign, you are being paid. Like, this is not people, they don't do this out of the charity of their own heart. There is an economic incentive. They're like, the myth of the non-profit organization, that it's just a bunch of people doing this out of the kindness of their own hearts. No. Most non-profit organizations' primary expenditure is in salaries.
Yeah.
So, somebody's
if true,
getting
it's
paid.
weird, but you're right. The people don't do this for free. You know, if you are a fundraiser for the Democratic Party, you're getting paid a salary. You know, that's a job. So, her getting paid is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just we need proof of this mysterious $1.5 million payment that I'm
Fire is
sure
the
Laura
answer.
Loomer isn't lying about.
Yep, it's just one of those oddities again, in a case with a lot of oddities. And we actually go on then to CNN's coverage, which I think you mentioned. So CNN pointed out, or MSNBC, excuse me, their legal expert pointed out that the judge had apparently instructed the jury members to pay attention to pieces of evidence. What was it here?
Service guarantees citizenship.
These are pieces of evidence you can consider, for example, in trying to determine whether there were falsified business records. You can look at these bank records, you can look at these invoices. And that is apparently
Service guarantees
extraordinarily
citizenship.
unusual for a judge to point the jury towards evidence in a criminal case.
I'm not sure if it is or not. I don't know if it is. If it is, then yeah, that's kind of strange.
Well, according to this ex-judge, it is. There was also further, and this is a bit more speculative, this was on CNN Politics, where they pointed out that the judge had apparently listed the crimes they could accuse him of. It's like, okay, crime, these are the 3 crimes that he may have committed.
Yeah, isn't that usually in the realm of the prosecutor to determine, not the judge?
Yes, it's usually the prosecutor who needs to tell you what kind of legal violations the defendant may or may not have committed. So there's a lot of little weirdnesses.
Yep, there's a lot of little weirdnesses in this. Well, it's like I said, right? So you know the history of this case, do you?
The hush money case? Well, some of it. The Stormy Daniels spot. I've mostly just looked into the exact court proceedings here.
Right. So the issue here's the history of this case, because I did look into the older stuff before it went to trial. Let me just grab it real quick here. Yeah, the TLDR of this case basically was Stormy Daniels, porn star, has sex with Trump. Trump wants to pay her off. Trump does so by, I think it's sending money through his campaign. And then that money was improperly handled by someone who works at the campaign. I think it was like his lawyer or his right-hand man or something. And basically, the taxes on it weren't paid properly because it was marked as a campaign expenditure. The issue is that was a misdemeanor. And they decided to stretch the law a bit after pushing it and pushing it and pushing it for like almost 10 years at this point. They finally decided to stretch the law and make it into a felony by using a loophole. And that already didn't sit right with a lot of people.
Not a loophole, because now I know what you're talking about, necessarily. Because, as you say, it was indeed a misdemeanor. Now, a misdemeanor is, shoplifting, basically. Anything that isn't like a serious crime. It's also the problem that the statute of limitation on misdemeanors is 2 years. And as you say, it's been like, I think, not 10, I think it's been 8 or something. Because this was back in 2016, 2017, I think. So the way they did this was that the payment was given with the intent to commit another crime. That is the reason why they elevated to it felony. The other crime was conspiracy to promote or prevent elections, and they didn't actually announce this crime until the closing hearings, which is also very, very unusual. And the argument is that because Trump used campaign funds to do this, as you said, and didn't tax it correctly, that was him attempting to interfere in the electoral process.
Right. Which is such a ridiculous way to... I mean, it's technically true.
It is technically true, but it is beyond thin.
Heresy's the question.
Yeah, it's so stupid, because
Fire is the
everything you
answer.
do in that case is related to interfering in an electoral process, right? Like, if you're a candidate and you buy lunch and you
Yes.
eat the food, and the food keeps you alive another day, you're now interfering in the election, because without that food, you wouldn't be on the ballot. Like, it's just stupid fucking logic that they've used here.
Yes. And this then turned into 3 separate unlawful means, which was campaign crimes, which was the misuse of campaign funds, tax crimes, as in the tax were filed incorrectly, and falsification of documents, as in they didn't, deliver the taxes and write it up
Heresy's the
properly.
question.
And by
Fire is
combining
the answer.
those 3 under the interference with the election law, they came up with a felony. So yeah, it was... You know how in those legal shows you see the people sitting around the table and go like, damn, how do we get this guilty person? Well, what if we use this law in combination with that? Like a Spock moment. This is that.
Yeah. And I think that's why, basically, I know the chat was reading about me being wrong, dev, bad faith. Listen, I forgot a couple of the details. I was mostly right in the end, from what you described, Arch. I was pretty close to that. But I think this is why everyone is reading at this, though. Because it seems like such a stretch. It seems like just desperation to try and pin something on Trump finally. Like, this case has come and gone 3 or 4 times. You know what I mean? Here, I did find this. Just real quick. I'll post this in the link channel. If you search for the word inquiry in the article, you can see there's a section where basically it talks about how the case was revived and then died again because they just couldn't find a legal path forward for it. So this is something that's happened several times now.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, can we get him on this Stormy Daniels thing? And they look into it and it's like, it doesn't really work. And then they get like a new DA, he looks into it, it doesn't really work. And then they finally get someone willing to try it. And that's why it just felt so petty when they finally brought these charges.
Yes.
And the fact that he's now lost on them is ridiculous, and I think
It was also the thing that the person who paid the alleged hush money to Stormy Daniels was Michael Cohen, who used his own money to do it and then invoiced Trump for it. So like, even at the very beginning, you can be like, okay, so they're accusing Trump of the crime that this other person committed. And it's like, okay, already that's a stretch, but I can see the logic. And then you add on stretch after stretch on top of that until you have this thinnest of technical cases that has been scraped to the limits of its endurance.
Yeah.
Heresy's the question.
And
Fire
so
is
now
the
he's taken
answer.
his 34 L's, and I mean, he's going to appeal, but I know that there's jail time attached to this, but there's also like fines attached to this.
Well,
We haven't gotten to the sentencing yet, have we?
no, there's potentially jail time, but jail time is very unlikely. Like, Trump doesn't have a criminal record. He's an elderly man. He's not an escape risk or anything. Like, if they slap jail on him for this, that would be ludicrous. Normally, this would be a fine and a suspended sentence.
Yeah. I could see that being the case.
What was I on about? So yes, and another thing I want to mention as well is the jury took 9 hours to deliberate on this, and there were 34 charges. That means that the jurors spent something like, I think, 15 minutes on each charge.
my God.
I mean, hey, it's quick and speedy justice, if nothing else.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the
Yeah,
answer.
this is bullshit. Here's the thing, like, I still think he's probably guilty of the two big ones. If we're to forget about the partisan nature of the trials,
Service guarantees
and
citizenship.
just talk about, if we just simply talk about the facts of the case, I think he's guilty of the two big ones. I also think that they'll be stalled out until the election, because they're going to hope that the election will come, Trump will win, and then the cases will be quietly forgotten about. That's what they're hoping. And it'll probably happen, to be honest. It'll probably happen that way. But like this just seems ridiculous. This seems like a complete fucking ass pull. It seems like they're desperate. You know what it kind of seems like? It seems like the people in New York are watching the cases unfold in the other states, and they're noticing that they're going kind of slow, because they kind of have to be, because they are frankly more real cases. So they're actually going through things at an appropriate pace.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
And so they're like, shit, dude, we gotta rush this one out really quick, so we can trip Trump at the finish line. And that's what it seems like they're trying to do. And that is going to backfire. It's already backfiring in their fucking face.
Yeah, it's not a case that sounds very good. Now, if they really... See, here's the thing, Tails. As in chat mentioned this, that they'll throw on jail time. Already, I would say that this is a major political mistake for the opposition here, because this is the weakest case. If they had been convicted in the others, there might have been a far better argument, at the very least. But here, the argument is so thin.
Citizenship.
And when you take everything into consideration, and the fact that they came to a verdict with 15 minutes per topic, etc., it seems crazy. If on top of that, the judge insists on a jail sentence for a 77-year-old man, I think...
I think he's 77, yeah.
Yeah, that is just going... For a 77-year-old man, for a first-time conviction for tax fraud and, like, document tampering, that would be absolutely insane.
Actually, is that what Capone got? Because they had no crimes on him. They only got him on tax evasion.
Yeah, RICO. The RICO laws allows tax evasion to be tied into other things.
Right, yeah, fair enough.
So they technically got him on more than just tax evasion, but tax evasion was the thing that allowed them to, like, get everything.
Right, yes, yeah.
But again, yes, sending him to jail, they could, technically. That is a part of the potential sentence. But my God, would that... Like, if he gets a 6% bump from the conviction alone... Jesus Christ, if I was Trump, I'd almost hope they'd send me to jail at that point.
Well, I made the joke I think it was last summer when I was on the show. I said there has to be like potential for a sitcom here, right? Where like Trump is president, however he's in jail, and like he has to have a secret service with him at all times, right? So he's in jail dealing with like thugs in jail and like, you know, gangs and, you know, drug rings, smuggling in jail, but he has his secret service guys with him.
Yep.
And like there's potential for like a funny movie there.
Well, there's the thing. Okay, so I saw a lot of people also talk about how the CIA had entered into like conversations on how to handle Trump in jail. Now, that happened like 2 days before the verdict. So a lot of people leapt on that, like, the system's already convicted him. And partially, I think maybe so. But this is also something that will happen.
I think they're preparing for, like, they have to prepare for that possibility. So
yes.
They start early. That makes sense.
Yes, this must actually happen. Because if he does go to jail, which is now a theoretical legal possibility... The Secret Service is obligated to go with him, and that is going to be a whole thing. If Trump went to jail, they would basically have to section off a portion of the jail just for Trump.
Hold on, you don't think that? Okay, you think it would be because he would be in danger, like he'll get the shit kicked out of him, or do you think it's because like he'll, you know, charm everyone and start like a Trump gang?
Well, I don't think it matters because. Here's the thing, from the Secret Service's perspective, right? If something were to happen to Trump, if he so much as got a nosebleed in jail from a fight, the fucking fallout from that would be absolutely unfathomable. Can you imagine the shitstorm if Trump gets in a jail fight? That failure of security, you know? They can't risk that. That's just not an option. And at the same time, he also has, as a prisoner, a lot of rights. Like, he has the right for a certain amount of airtime, he gets to be outside in the yard, he gets to have so and so many meals, etc. There are a lot of logistics around keeping someone a prisoner, and the only way I think they can keep him absolutely safe would probably be to just, like, build a section of the prison just for him.
Yeah. Or just, like, clear out a section, just give it to him for his time there. Something like that.
Yeah, because I cannot imagine he would be brought into contact with the general prison populace. That would just be way too fucking dangerous.
I decided to look this up real quick, because I knew that this was happening. There was some sort of case where Trump, it's now at the Supreme Court, where they're trying to determine whether Trump is immune to a whole bunch of things because of presidential immunity.
Heresy
right?
is the question.
And the documents
Fire
case
the
is
answer.
currently on hold until that's decided. And I think even the Georgia case might be on hold until that's decided as well. So, yeah, it really feels like, because after looking at, like, I quickly, while you were talking, I quickly pulled up all the cases again, just gave them a quick glance again.
Fire is
And
the answer.
the slower cases, the more serious cases, they've said, okay, we're going on hold until the presidential immunity question is cleared up. And, you know, whether or not there is an election coming up, that probably is the right thing to do. But this case, they just seem to have gone full steam ahead. They're like, fuck it, we got to beat the Supreme Court to the finish line. Fuck it, we got to get something on this guy. That's why this one just seems so shady. Because it seems like they're throwing away pretty much everything to try and get him. They're throwing away all legal precedent. They're throwing away, you know, things that aren't law but are customary. They're throwing that away. They're ignoring other cases and how they're progressing. Like, it seems like the novel legal theory to try to tie, like, this one just seems like the most fucked case out of all of them.
Yes, it's an extraordinarily shady case, and it has probably done a lot to help Trump's chances for a presidential bid. I cannot see this.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Even if George Soros' son gets his way, I've already seen people beginning to meme like, I want convicted felon for president. I don't think that's going to be the negative stamp that they think it is.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, now Trump can reclaim the Maverick label he had in 2016. Because he was that. He was the outsider in 2016. He wasn't part of the GOP establishment. He came in from the outside, and he ended up taking over the party from within. And now he couldn't really claim that status after losing in 2020, but he can now. And that is, I think, a massive misstep on the Democrats' part, is that they've basically, like, handed him his old toolkit.
Well, yeah, he can claim to be a political prisoner now, and he can back it up with quite a bit of things that just look, to the normal person, really fucking weird. Again, all of the things with the judge just looks really fucking weird.
Heresy's the question.
Yep.
Fire is the answer.
Zattacked in the chat said, we're going on hold to see if presidential immunity counts as something that happened while he was president. Unironically, yes, because presidential immunity is not infinite. It doesn't cover everything, right? So, from what I was looking up, basically, presidential immunity covers actions that the president does in his role as the president, but it doesn't cover personal actions, right? And they're in fact trying to determine whether or not it covered his phone call looking for the 11,000 votes in Georgia. You know, that famous phone call that we've all heard 1,000 times now? Because if that was a phone call where Trump was acting in his official capacity as president, where basically he was saying, hey, can you make sure that the election's legit? Then he has immunity for asking that question. However, if he was acting as a private citizen to try to get reelected, and he was trying to use the office of the president in that way, then he doesn't have immunity. And that's currently the question before the Supreme Court. And that's going to be a big one, I think. But honestly, I think they'll run the timer out, and we'll hit the election before it's decided either way.
Probably. Another aspect of this case too that is going to sit poorly with a lot of Americans, I think, is you remember Bill Clinton?
Yes, the hush money claim with Bill Clinton.
Yes, because the primary difference
Service
here
guarantees citizenship.
is that Bill Clinton paid the hush money after the case was public, and in this case, Trump paid it before it was public. Mm-hmm. Which is one of those really retarded sounding differentials. Like, oh, he paid her after the fact, therefore it's okay. I'm like legally speaking, that makes sense because the first is an attempted cover up, the second is a settlement, sure. But
Yep.
it just sounds so dumb.
It does sound dumb, but honestly, it's one of those legal things that you have to do. I've read a few. For example, I read the entire court document on appealing when they took down Roe versus Wade. I read that whole thing, right? And that was the first time I truly read an extended, opinion written by a bunch of justices all the way through cover to cover. It was really long and really boring, but I read it and I realized judges have to autistically justify everything, right? They have to pull up every single precedent, every single bit of law, every single case that has come before them in the entire history of their court. They have to autistically justify every single thing to point out differences in between cases and to try and suss out why we do things the way that we do. Because a lot of it is kind of intuitional. So it's one of those things where it actually does make sense that Bill Clinton paying after the fact would not be a crime in the same way that Trump paying before the fact would be. But you have to autistically, slice off very thin slivers of the law to really get at why that's the case, which honestly is really annoying to do. It's really annoying to read, but I understand why you have to do it. It's you have to rationally justify everything at some point.
Yeah. But to the normal person, they're going to go so they did the exact same thing? Yes. The only difference is the time? Yes.
Yeah. And that's how it is. I think a lot of people will say man, this seems rigged. This sucks. And sometimes it is just rigged. That's just how it is. And that sucks. But sometimes a normal person will say this seems rigged. But then you invite them in to see the inner workings of the thing they think is rigged, and they actually go through it and they're like, "Oh, it actually makes complete sense as to why it's like this. It's just very opaque."
Well, see, here's the thing. I want to give the devil his due simply to make it even clearer what's going on when the devil isn't worth his due, right? Because this is a case where the devil does not appear to be in the right. This is a case where the devil appears to literally just be doing garbage stuff, pretty much straight up. Because there are cases in which there are justifiable reasons for why people do things. For example, one that's been going around a lot recently. I take it you've seen the stabbing attack in Germany that happened a few days ago?
Oh my god. Chat, have you seen that shit? Okay. You can't show it on the stream.
I cannot show it. No.
So you had Nazi protesters, okay?
I thought they were alternative for Deutschland.
Okay. Fair enough. There's probably a few Nazis in there, to be honest. But you can't be a Nazi openly in Germany anymore, so... But they were protesting, and, the police... I think the police were, in the middle of confronting them, and then an Islamist shows up, stabs them, all right? And then the police, take down the guy who was stabbed, and then the police get stabbed by the Islamist before he's fucking taken down. And it's this is ridiculous, guys. Germany, how can you be this fucking cucked?
Yes, so I looked into it. It was not Alternative for Deutschland, by the way. It was something called Pax Europe, which does...
Yeah, there we go. It's getting closer. It's getting closer.
Yeah, we're getting there now. But okay, they were having a illegal protest doing their thing. There were a handful of them. And an Islamist indeed attacks them with a knife and starts stabbing people. The police then moves in to, and one of the Pax Europa people tackles the guy with the knife to the ground and is holding him down. The police then tackles the guy who is holding the knifeman on the ground and start arresting him, releasing the knifeman to stab the police officer.
Yeah. Germany is like... Here's the thing, all right? The Nazis will come back to Germany, and it will be a fucking horror show. And the main reason is because they're allowing shit like this to go on.
Yeah, because that is a moment that a normal person looks at that, and it's like, okay, so the police tackled the man who was defending himself against the man with the knife. Yes. Okay, something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I will also say, here's the one other thing. People are asking, like, oh, why are they arresting the people who were attacked? This is actually entirely normal. The police always do this. When the police arrive at the scene of a crime, regardless of what that crime is, regardless of how obvious it is, the police arrest everyone. Because the police do not know for absolute sure what has happened. Like, this is why you can have somebody running out of a nightclub, covered in blood, shouting like, there's a shooter in there. The police will arrest that person on the off chance that it is the shooter trying to run away. Like, they must arrest everybody.
Mm-hmm. And then they sort it out later, yeah.
Yes, but in this case, because the police were watching this happen, they were right there. They watched this happen, and they still elected to go after the guy subduing the man with the knife first.
Yeah, it's so fucking crazy, dude. Like I've been watching the slow rise of the right in France. It's already happened in Italy. It's happening in Germany now. It's definitely happening in the UK. I know there was an article recently out of Sweden where one of the lefties was like, we made a massive mistake with immigration. Like, we fucked ourselves. And North America, it has like a natural shield in the oceans, right? Like if a Muslim is going to come to North America, they have to like get on a plane or get on a boat. Like, it takes deliberation. They can't just walk here like they did in, what was it, 2015 during the migrant crisis, when they like walked through Greece from the Middle East. I'm sure you recall those videos, like those very dramatic videos of just like millions of Middle Eastern men just walking across the planet. It was like ridiculous to see.
Yep.
But yeah, like there's gonna be a backlash to this. All right. There's already been after the whole October 7th thing happened. You had people getting deported already, so it's already started, right? Because you had basically in Germany, because they're very cucked right now, but they're also very cucked in a pro-Israel way for obvious reasons. So when you had various Muslim immigrants, cheering on the Palestinian, freedom fighters on October 7th, Germany immediately rounded them up and sent them back. They're like, nope, you're not a refugee anymore. Get the fuck out. So, and like ever since then, things have just been escalating.
Yes, and again, it's also it's added to as well by the media reaction to it as well. Like, you see, people see the actual video. It's been going around Twitter like mad. Everyone is seeing the police take out the guy who's subduing the knifeman. Everybody sees the police then get stabbed by it. Like, it's the meme material of the decade. And then the media goes, video shows anti-Islam activists among those stabbed in German knife attack. Like, you fuckers.
Yeah, like there at some point, your propaganda starts bending against reality a bit too hard.
Yes.
And you end up just like propagandizing people in the other direction.
Yes, you make it worse by like, this weird man for no reason whatsoever attacked these dirty fascists. And then some people were stabbed, we just don't know why.
And for no reason at all.
Exactly. Like, that is literally the continuation of the meme. For no reason at all, Germany voted for Hitler again.
Because Kraut post here. I found it. Kraut posted this. It's a Spanish article, but he translated. This is fucking hilarious. It's kind of related. Check this out. Okay, what it says is, what a bunch of clowns. The Spanish government are quietly rolling back genocide accusations they made against Israel because they now realize that under Spanish law, making that accusation grants every Palestinian a right to asylum in Spain.
I mean, yes. Yes, it would, wouldn't it?
So it turns out you can't just endlessly virtue signal with no fucking repercussions in the real world.
You know, because that makes perfect sense. You know, why can you seek asylum? Well, it is if you are likely to be the victim of unjust legal persecution or genocide or something like that in your country. If it's dangerous to return to your country for any reason, you can seek asylum. Well, if the state says that there's a genocide going on...
Yeah, then they can all come over. Exactly.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? I haven't spoken to these people in a few years now, but I did know some people from China who had been given asylum status in Canada, and two of them were because they were lesbians, and so they left because they were being persecuted, and then another handful of them were because they were political dissidents, and so they were living in Canada, and they were they weren't being bums. They had jobs. They were contributing, right? But they were refugees. They were legitimate refugees. And they basically at one point pretty much unanimously agreed that the way that the asylum process was being abused, this was back in like 2019. It's definitely the same now. But the way that it's being abused now is just disgraceful, because people are asking for asylum for literally fucking nothing. And the West is like too cucked and too weak and too empathetic to say no, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
And again, like this is what is going to cause the shift. It is simply, and it's also the fact this is the cornered animal lashing out, right? Anyone could easily tell you that bringing Trump to court on this flimsy a case and then potentially throwing him in jail over it would rally his support. And it would do nothing to bolster your own support. In fact, it would probably damage it, because now all of the Republicans can point to this, to their Democrat friends who are on the fence, and go like, hey, this is a bit weird, isn't it? How did this judge get appointed in 3 cases, all related to Trump, whilst not being on the list of active judges? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly, right? Exactly. I completely agree with you on this. I think if it were one of the stronger cases, this would have gone down a lot more smoothly, frankly. I don't think there would be a backlash. I mean, you'd still have like the right wingers who would have a backlash, obviously, because they're always going to. But I think like the normies would be okay with it. You can feel now the normies are not okay with this.
Yes, and like the left also is just continuing to do this because it can't go back. Like bring it back to the knife attack. Like the description: 6 people wounded in a knife attack at a far-right rally in Germany on Friday. Great. That's what people want to see. You're just going to piss people off with this now. You are just going to piss people off. Like, anti-immigrant movements across Europe have been surging lately. And it is because we've done all of this completely wrong. Immigration can work just fine, but it needs to be integrated immigration. Unlimited immigration is a very fucking bad idea, as it turns out.
Yep. Here, let me give you this, because this is related to my Menefrego video, but it's also kind of its own topic, and I'll probably do it relatively soon. But you saw this going around, right? So this is from a visual novel where, and by the way, this white-haired anime girl with the baby, she's actually the villain, okay? And I forget exactly which one it was, but I do remember that she's the villain.
God,
and one of the endings is...
We can't bring that up on screen, you little shit. It's got the bad word in it.
That's fine.
Dumb dev.
Okay, hold on. I'll write over it. Give me a second. I'll pull up paint and draw on it. Okay. But basically, this anime girl here, she has white hair, and she's holding a baby, and she I'll just scribble over it so no one can see. She's holding a baby, and she says, "Let's live together with our baby, focused on the future." Here's the censored version for you, Arch.
There you go.
And this is, I think this is from a visual novel, but I'm not exactly sure which one it was, but I've seen it around several times. I'm pretty sure it's a visual novel. And basically the idea here is that this is the main villain of whatever story this is, and there's an ending where you can basically turn her into a housewife. And she's kind of cute, so fair enough. And in this ending, you have a kid with her, so it's like, okay, great. And this person says, far right propaganda. Leftists will say this anime shit is far right propaganda, and it's literally just them having a family, right? And so this this very far left person says it legitimately is propaganda, and everyone's aware. It's just that natalism and subjugation of women to the familial unit, a fascist political ideal, is so naturalized in the patriarchy that the reactionaries have plausible deniability in pretending it's simply aching for happiness. Mm-hmm. So, per their political theory, this is actually completely correct.
Yeah, the problem is, I understand what that means. Mm-hmm. But any normal human is going, look, word. So what you're saying is you're a communist. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Well, also what they're doing is, so by their very far left political theory, this is all correct. But the downside is they've taken everything that is normal about the human experience and put it in the right-wing camp. Yes. They put it in the reactionary camp, in the fascist camp, right? So, because we are at the point where if you're in a monogamous relationship, you are a far-right Nazi, fascist, reactionary, alt-right, Gamergate chud because you want a girlfriend. We're actually at that point now.
Yeah, and it was inevitable because this is the Gramscian way. Like, you've got to you've got to change out everything that is within the normal system. Now, I'm sure if Gramsci himself was alive, he'd probably tell everybody to chill at the point where it became truly ridiculous, but this is the nature of progressivism. This is, incidentally, again, why I believe that pro-pedo action is inevitable within progressivism. It's going to happen.
Eventually, yeah. I mean, it's like, it's on the fringes still. It'll eventually come to the forefront, I think.
Yep.
And this is the thing, right? Like, it's this tendency, now that this is becoming more and more and more obvious, the treating just normal core parts of the human experience, having a girlfriend or a boyfriend, having a family, being in a monogamous relationship, these very normal things, treating these as reactionary and evil because they are the product of a conservative way of life. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people who are like center left are drifting away from the leftist radicals. It's one big reason why Brianna Wu is, all right? Like, I know I keep talking about this with you, Arch, but the honest truth is, like, every time she has one of these crisis moments, I pull out an image like this and I show it to her. And I'm like, listen, you can see it now. And she's like, yes, I can see it now. It was always leading this way. I was like, yes, it was. So this sort of stuff is useful to de-radicalize, a lot of people who don't like where this is going.
Little Red Bridge, Dev.
Here's the thing about Little Red Bridge. They're no longer reds after they cross it.
Well, we will see about that, will we not?
But yeah, this is going to be something that I cover is in a future video, probably in fact next week. The left is moving into the positions where they're taking normal core parts of the human experience that almost everyone experiences. Everyone feels nostalgia. Everyone wants to have a family. Most people, they want to have a partner. All right. Everyone wants to have a private space, like a home. Everyone, there are certain things that pretty much every human being wants, with like a few very radical exceptions. Most people just want these core things. They're taking these things and making them right wing, and what that does is that means that what is normal is now right wing. And once you're in that position, you just instantly lose. You instantly lose every argument. You instantly lose every election. Like it all just does not go your way. Like, if having a girlfriend is right wing and you're evil for wanting it, you're going to vote right wing every time. You know what I mean? So this is a fatal flaw I think the radicals on the left are doing to their own movement that will just destroy them in the long run.
Absolutely. Or at the very least, it will destroy them because they've moved far too quickly.
And here's the thing: I don't even think that you could even move this slowly. Like, I don't think like, propaganda can do some things for sure. I don't think you can propagandize people out of wanting a girlfriend, no matter how slow you boil that frog.
I don't know, Dev. I don't know. I've seen people being like, to put it like this. About less than 100 years ago, around 100 years ago or so, the idea of prostitution was entrenched within human society. Like the smallest village had at least a village whorehouse. You know, it was absolute a part of the human experience. It was everywhere, and it was just accepted as a common part of existence. Today, that is a weird thing. That is like oh god, prostitutes. That's oh god, no. Like we can't have that here. And that is something as natural as sex, as men being biologically programmed to want to pork anything and everything that moves twice a day.
So, I have noticed that there's definitely also been a desexualizing of society happening too. You know, the sex positive feminists are on the way out as well.
Oh yeah, the how do I put it? The shame of sexuality is in full swing right now. You've seen this. V has talked about this a lot, right? Where you post a big-titted anime woman, and the leftists go like, "Oh, disgusting! How dare you? So unrealistic, terrible!" And then you go on their profile, and it's full of furry diaper porn.
Yep.
Yeah, because the sexualization is still there. They're trying to go after normal sexualization. They're attempting to de-sex the majority of people, whilst going like, "Oh yeah, if you're into my fringe 2% freaky shit, then that's okay."
So here's the thing, right? We had this conversation with Taftage like last month or something when she was on the show. There is this fear of, in a more general sense, there's a fear of authenticity in our society, of sincerity. And so when sex comes up, it either has to be extremely degenerate, so the weirdest fucking fetishes, the most out there shit, or it has to be a joke. It has to be joke sexuality, right? Like like having sex with a bear in Baldur's Gate 3, shit like that, right? You cannot have an authentic, sincere, normal sexual experience that is romantic and titillating and also contributes to some sort of long-term relationship. You can't have that in media anymore because that's a normal thing, right? And we're very, and it's partially Gramscian, I think so. There's something else to it as well. I think it's part of the wider move away of simply being sincere about anything at all. Because if you're sincere about something, that means you must stake a claim. You must put your flag in the sand, and you must say, "This is where I stand. This is how I feel. This is what's important to me. This is what I will be serious about." And the millennials have grown up in a culture of irony and a culture of constant criticism and sarcasm. And millennials, now that we're in our 30s and we're now writing for some of these shows and some of these games, that's all we know. There's nothing sincere about the millennial subculture, about the millennial experience. It's all irony that masks like degeneration and destruction. So it's not just Gramscian. I think there's also like a real nihilism at the core of this, where if you say that, oh, here's a presentation of human sexuality, and it's not degenerate, and it's not comedic, it's real. I think that scares a lot of millennials, frankly.
Well, yes, and there is also a point to be expanded upon that as well, that if you do declare a position, like, and this isn't even a political thing. I think this is a fear of ridicule thing. If you assume a position, you assume something that can be attacked. You have a vector that people can come at you from. If you have no opponent or no opinions, you solely exist to ridicule other people's opinions, you are in a far safer spot. This kind of comes back to, well, not even just a political thing. Like, the entire thing of the Bloodsport stuff on YouTube was, in essence, that, where it was a bunch of people attempting to not care about anybody else's position and then competing to see who could care the least.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yep. But it's also a political tool that is used by the left. It's like, I'm not a communist, I am an anarcho-naturalist. Shit like that.
Or whatever the fuck, yeah.
Yeah, if you can keep your position undefinable, you cannot be attacked.
Yes. Shit, there was something that scrolled by in the chat that was actually really good about this. Fuck, it's gone now. Damn, I can't find it. I'm scrolling up and down. I still can't see it. Did I hallucinate it? It was related to this idea though. It was here, I'll pull out some of my
Heresy's
links on
the
this. This is
question.
also
Fire
I don't know
is
if you
the
guys know,
answer.
but I work on like something like 24 videos at once. Whatever kind of strikes my fancy, and then whenever one of them finishes, I put it out. But I'm never working on the same thing all the time. This is one thing I've been working on, is just the soullessness of millennial writing, millennial storytelling. You know, if all you are is ironic, you don't stand for anything. If you don't stand for anything, then your story has no moral or emotional center. It's just a bunch of scenes with all of the trappings of something being interesting, but not actually being interesting. I think I said that on EFAP last week or something. But,
yeah, and
let's see here.
Again, this was a very common thing where it was literally, yeah, as chat says, it was cringe to have an opinion. I guess.
Yes.
And this is also where we've arrived at why the left has managed to push as far as it has, because, well, it was cringe to have an opinion. So why do you have an opinion? Like, it's literally the, like, why do you care? It's just a video game. Why do you care? It's just a movie.
And I mean, I think that worked. It worked on kids, because kids tend to want to be more adults. Well, hold on, just real quick though. Kids tend to want to be more adult than they are. They want to be viewed as serious. That's a normal part of being a child. And one easy way of gaining that sort of status is to be disaffected. You know, to be kind of cool. You know, be cool under the collar. Yeah, detached. You don't really care. Like, who cares about this? Who cares? You know, it's cringe if you care about things. However, you're supposed to grow out of that, because, you know, having a girlfriend or having a wife, having a child, having a business that you own, or a career you care about, or a house that you own and maintain, you must care about these things in order to have them, and you have to truly care about these things in order for things to actually work properly in your life. You know, I think that's why, to go back to that picture that I posted, I had to censor out the N-word. The reason why leftists look at that and say this is far right is because it's not nihilistic. It's particular. It's saying, no, hold on, I do actually want a wife and a baby, and I do want to have, you know, a pro-social family life. I do want to be part of a society that is functioning and proper. And so, but to do that, you must care about certain things. You must care enough to cultivate them. However, if you care, then you're not going to be that disaffected, nihilistic millennial who is above it all and is cool and detached. Like, all of these concepts, they're kind of they're related in some way that I don't fully understand yet. But there's something here for sure.
Definitely. There is also there's also like a cultural aspect of this. Like, the reason why it's just a movie, or it's just like a hobby, or it's just made up, worked, because that was an argument that was being made persuasively for quite a time in quite a lot of settings. Oh, Star Wars, it's just a made-up science fiction thing, or what do you care if we add in women or brown people in it? It's like, okay, it's difficult to argue against that, because to do so, you have to say, no, I do care. Fuck you. I like this. Because to do that, you need to declare yourself to be the guy who likes the thing that doesn't matter. You have to put yourself in a position to argue for why the thing that doesn't exist actually matters to you, and that puts you in a vulnerable position. It's also a vulnerable position from a societal standpoint, because we grew up in a time when gaming was not popular. Like, admitting that you liked video games was in and of itself uncool, and so on.
Yep, for sure.
And especially when it comes to, like, saying, committing to a conservative political position, like, oh, you think coming out of the closet is dangerous in 2024? Well, I'll tell you what's actually dangerous. Admitting to conservative leanings.
That's true. And to be fair, being a gamer in the 90s as well, you got the shit kicked out of you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That happened a fair bit too. Yeah, I think there's something here. I mean, I did that video, Nostalgia is Fascism, and I was kind of touching on the surface of it, but I didn't really go too deep into it. But there's definitely something here where, like, there are normal human impulses to hit certain life markers and to do certain things. And these are now politicized. and they're politicized as right wing. And I think it's because the left is just nihilistic at the core. And so if you care, you're a loser, you're not doing it right, etc. But in order to have like a wife that you love, you must care about her. In order to have a child and be a good parent, you must care about those children, A lot of these things require you to not be a nihilist if you're going to do them correctly.
And also the fact that the right wing had been in a position of authority for quite a time. After the Second World War, basically, our way of life was entrenched. The idea that politics was not an everyday thing was entrenched, particularly in geekdom culture. Bringing up politics or religion was taboo. And so that became the norm. You don't talk about it. And so when it became necessary to talk about it, it has now taken us like 20 years to arrive in the position where we can actually confidently argue our values against the left, rather than merely just calling what the left does stupid from it's non-political, bruh, which is not an argument. You have to actually,
the question.
you have to actually build that up with something as well.
Yeah. It is Bane telling Batman that victory's defeated you, where basically the normie liberal, quasi-liberal, quasi-conservative position that was just the norm post World War II, just enjoyed this unfettered, this unfettered victory where there's nothing we couldn't do, nothing was in our path. We overcame every obstacle. The Soviets collapsed on their own trying to beat us, and they were never going to beat us anyway. They were always fucking pathetic compared to us. And we got to the point where we won literally everything, and there was no more demons left to fight. We had solved a lot of the problems, and then we just collapsed in on our own decadence.
Absolutely. We did not see the rot coming, and so it pulled us under. Right. Well, I think that's a good long piece of topics, so we should do some super chats too.
That's true. We did kind of get away from the Trump trial, though, in the end.
Yes. But it was an expansion on the general topic, so it's okay.
Yeah. I guess let's wrap it around for 2 minutes, though, just to finish up.
Sure.
I know the chat disagrees. I still think the two main cases, Georgia RICO and Mar-a-Lago documents, those are strong cases, and they are waiting for the presidential immunity question to be settled before they continue. They'll probably just wait out the election and then go from there, see if one way or the other, go from there. But this case seems like a sham trial, frankly. This seems like a purely politically motivated trial. They've broken so many rules and customs. They've bent so many things. It's obvious at this point that they're just trying to get something to stick, because they're desperately trying to trip Trump in the final 10 meters of the race. You know what I mean? So this is, and it's going to backfire on them. It already is backfiring on them. They've basically handed Trump a victory, and a pretty big victory that might actually lead to him winning the election. And that is my final take on that.
I'm just going to celebrate this in chat that I've made Dev see the light for a little bit. There we go.
Well, the difference is that you had evidence, Arch. You came with all these links and all these things. Oh, look, this is happening. And said, fair enough. Usually when I debate V on this, there's no evidence. There's just Romanian screeching. By the way, it's not a slight against V. We're having fun here. I like V.
There. Now I just need to work chat up into a nice big frenzy. Right, Mercenary X. Dev, the whole thing was rigged from the beginning. Even if the jury wasn't impartial, I'm already hearing from my back channels that they have legal guns at the jurors' families' heads. Whilst the FBI did tamper with the Mar-a-Lago evidence, it is true. But we have already defeated Dev with facts and logic. Why must we talk about things that we cannot prove?
I would like to see if there is actually, guns to the jurors' heads. That would be interesting.
Dethan?
But,
The issue is now that the Democratic Party had opened up political prosecution as a legitimate political means. In fact, this is not the first instance of the Democratic Party doing stuff like this, and then the Republicans using their tactics against them. Well, yes. Like, see, what is probably... Okay, so let's, for a moment, talk about the potential consequences here, right? Does Trump seem like the kind of guy who's like, oh, hey, you screwed me over. Fair game. Let's be friends.
Nope.
Nope.
So here's the thing. Like you looked up Projekt 2025, right?
I have not.
Okay, I'll need to send this to you because this is actually important.
Heresy's the question.
Yeah,
Fire
I'll just
is the
drop
answer.
the wiki real quick in the link channel. So, Projekt 2025, also known as the Presidential Transition Project, is a collection of policy proposals to fundamentally
Heresy's the
reshape the
question.
U.S.
Fire
federal
is the
government
answer.
in the event of a Republican victory in the 2024 U.S. presidential election. So this is basically, you know how Trump said he was going to drain the swamp, and then he didn't do it?
Mm-hmm.
And the general consensus seems to be that the swamp was far more entrenched than initially believed. That's generally how Trump supporters view that failure. Well, Projekt 2025 is basically a much more coherent plan on how Trump should do that if he wins in 2024.
Ah.
So after the failure of Trump to do it in 2016, a bunch of right-wing populist types got together and said, okay, we actually have to do it this time. And so they basically built this entire framework for Trump to follow. Now, I don't know if Trump's publicly commented on it yet, but there is this background belief that if Trump wins, he's going to do it. And it's going to basically be a wrecking ball that a lot of people don't want to see happen.
I mean, I think I'm all for wrecking balls at this point.
Heresy's the question. Fire
Right, here we
is
go.
the
Okay,
answer.
yeah. Trump's campaign has clarified that it has its own policy goals, which they call Agenda 47, but they are appreciative of suggestions from like-minded organizations like the people who made Projekt 2025. So maybe they'll do some of it. Who knows?
Maybe, because I would imagine that Trump would want a little measure of revenge after everything. It would not surprise me.
Yep. He did say, actually, in one of the interviews, he said, I will be dictator on the first day, and that's it. So he does plan to, like, just purge. Or at least he says he will. Like, who knows, right?
Speaking of chat, go to the community section and vote in the poll for a potential future D&D project, in case this one goes tits up. Just saying.
Bring back vampire. Okay, I'm just going to quickly go through this. Yeah, okay. The census citizenship question. Okay, let's see. Whether an individual counted in the census as an American citizen. Okay, they're gonna tackle that. They're gonna tackle Christian nationalism. They want to bring Christian nationalism to the United States. That's kind of scary, frankly, since I'm not a Christian. They're doing something for climate change. Tax cuts and jobs. They're getting rid of Common Core education, massively expanding the powers of the presidential office. Foreign affairs. What's under this? If Projekt 2025 were implemented, congressional approval would not be required for the sale of military equipment and ammo to a foreign nation. Okay. Oh. That's right. They want to make journalism an accredited profession like doctors and lawyers are.
Good. I would have preferred to make journalism extinct, but I'll take it.
They want to roll back gay marriage. That was kind of obvious.
Heresy's the question. Fire
Less,
is the
you
answer.
know, I'd rather eradicate journalism.
Oh, they want to outlaw pornography.
Good luck.
Good luck with that one. Yeah. So, like, here's the thing. This was basically a series of policy proposals that Trump could possibly do as president. And I keep saying on the very left-wing side of the internet, we can't let Trump win. He's going to do Projekt 2025. The issue, though, is that Trump hasn't endorsed it. It's come from like a right-wing think tank. There are some things in here he probably wants to do but couldn't do. There are some things in here I don't think he would do, frankly. For example, Trump has said that he's like nominally pro-choice. At the very least, he wants it left up to state governments, which is what currently is with Roe v. Wade gone. It's left up to state governments. Meanwhile, most other right-wingers are very pro-life. You know, like this Projekt 2025 stuff is kind of spooky, frankly. I don't like most of the policy prescriptions in here. But there's no... Basically, when leftists say that Trump's going to do this and like we have to do this or else America will be destroyed, I don't think so. I think the chances of that are kind of low, frankly. But this is the big boogeyman on the left right now, on the online left. Like, hop on Twitter right now, guys, and just search Projekt 2025. You will see so many people losing their fucking minds over this.
Moving on, Marksman of 117B Arch, text from Black Pants Legion did a Dark Heresy campaign where his friends played Cops on High World. Not too serious. How about something like that for D&D? 40k, but a bit silly and fun. No. In my campaigns, you're either going to play goddamn vampire Nazis or prey hunted through the forest by warp abominations. Zero. So, changing the definition of unanimous is justice? Yes. Subject Noble. Dev is letting 4 men have their way with him. Probably.
What? Who are the 4 men?
I don't know. 4 people you pull off the street, I guess. Sandoom's been a member for 6 months. Seems Dev got stuck in his toilet mid-eating his 5th dinner. May he suffer the future consequences of making Arch late.
No, I just fell asleep and didn't wake up in time.
That's what happens to fat people. You know what? That's probably going to kill you one day. You know, you're just going to fall asleep and then there, that's it.
Not
Dev's
wake up. Listen, all right, Arch, you've heard a little bit about how hard I worked on the Sugar Conroy video.
Yeah, but it's more amusing to imagine that you would pass out from a 5th cheeseburger.
I've been working really fucking hard. I've been like getting almost no sleep for the past week now. I put the video out last night. I slept in this morning. I kind of lounged around a bit this morning. I took a nap in the afternoon. It was nice to have a day off. And I just slept through 4 o'clock. So sorry about that.
Dev. But why?
Also, Arch, you got to watch it. It's actually a really good video. Come on.
Dev.
Come on. Listen, Arch, listen. You have to devote 2 hours of your life to internet drama where an autistic Nintendo YouTuber gets canceled by progressive women. You have to do it.
Dev, you know, I love what you do. That's why I bring you on here, because I think you provide good intellectual commentary. But...
Well, thank you.
I could not give fucking less of a shit about some dude that got cancelled months ago for reasons I don't know.
Come on, it's a fun narrative. Like I explained everything.
I
start
tried
to finish.
to sit through your video on Skullgirls, and I got like halfway through until my brain was like, I don't care about this.
Yeah, so this story is like the Skullgirls one. It is like the Super Mega one, where it's just progressive women are being fucking snakes, and they're lying, and they're selectively releasing DMs and all this bullshit, and they're trying to take down basically white male autistic YouTubers who don't see it coming. All 3 of these stories are like that, basically.
But Dev, if I can't be asked to keep up with the Kardashians, why should I be asked to keep up with your drama?
It's not my drama. This is progressive stuff. I thought you hated those guys.
It's basically your drama now. Mass Fun Man says, I'll accept V as a replacement. Well, you got a little bit of V today. Nightmare, the prodigal, V returns.
V really should come back.
Says something weird in Soviet and says, Arch and V, I happy Pride month. It doesn't look like there's going to be too much of a Pride month this year. Deans, I'm sorry, my face is tied. It's okay, it's normal. Marked ashamed, have to go on Rumble for Super Chats as Google is censoring Super Chats and even some of my live chat messages don't appear. Is there any way to include Rumble live chat into the chat feed? No.
Service guarantees citizenship.
At least I don't know about it. Dicklong69 with his first super chat. Thank you very much. Opinion. Brandon Herrera, a internet shitposter, almost winning a Senate seat in Texas.
I haven't even heard of this before.
Me neither. Maybe I'll move to Texas. That way I can cover it more accurately. Zero Firewater. Dev is stuck on the toilet eating a ham. Also, I'm waiting for Dev to defend Trump being railroaded in court, just saying fuck the law in order to get him, a former president, guilty on all charges.
When did I do that?
See, I knew this would be a good opportunity to have Dev bond a little bit with chat from being on the right side for once.
Here's the thing. I was in support of Trump, and the chat was still screaming Dev wrong. So it's like, okay, guys, all right.
Dev has become a Trumpian, just like the rest of you, chat. You must become the little red bridge for Dev. Marked ashamed. You should play the video of Corey Harris' Zune trial. It's only a couple of minutes long and hilarious. Zune trial. That sounds terrible. Why would I do such a thing? And since
I don't know
you
what this is.
like to go to the history of things, you should watch Aidan Paladin's latest video. She talks about the studies that predate Jack Thompson, Ferguson versus Anderson, etc. all. What, on violence and video gaming or something? I've already made up my mind on that. We need more violent video games.
I mean, I recall the Nick Rekieta Zoom, the Zoom thing. You watched that, right, Arch?
Nope.
Okay, listen. I understand that you have an extreme aversion to covering Nick Rekieta because you know him personally, and it's this whole thing where it's drama and it's kind of tasteless. Fair enough. We won't talk about the case, but we should at least talk for a moment, for 30 seconds, about how fucking hilarious it is that during that initial hearing, it was on Zoom, and Nick was calling in on the Zoom call from the prison, and the judge was there, and then the court documenter or whatever was there. However, because they're fucking incompetent, the Zoom call was open, and the call link got leaked, and so a bunch of Rekieta fans were joining the call, spamming the N-word at the judge. So, it was a good time to watch. It was fun.
When you get accused of eating someone, Dev, I'm going to cover your trial. How about that?
Sure. But there was like. Nick, there's this great like video of Nick just like sitting there, stone faced, almost like half asleep, as you just hear person after person after person join the call, and just the N-word start to flow in, and the judge starts yelling, and he's just like with the 1,000-yard stare. Nick Rekieta, this is my life.
Dev, bad Dev,
Heresy's the
bad.
question. Fire
Hit
is
Dev.
the answer.
Hit Dev with a better red roll.
It's a fun time.
Mercenary 10 says, also, Trump is in total control here. He is exposing all the corruption and he has the military backing him. You won't find anything about this man, but when the truth comes out, you'll be forced to reevaluate everything you know. I had to when I saw it. We'll see about that. I've remembered some of these plans within plans before. They rarely manifest.
Yep. I mean, what'll probably happen is something similar to what happened in 2016. Trump will try to do some things. Some of them will be legal. Some of them won't be. Congress will be obstinate. He'll be told by whoever, listen, you can't do that with the powers of the president. It's not really in the job title. Trump will huff about it. He'll make some tweets, and then that'll be that. I don't think America's going to explode if Trump fucking wins.
Fire is the answer.
Zero Firewater, gays got an inch and took a month of degeneracy with bondage gear in broad daylight, inviting kids into strip clubs. Well, at least there were some positive things about Pride Month. I'm joking, of course, chat. But, see, we need to abuse children more. We need to see, this wouldn't have been a problem if we had just abused children. Child labor needs to make a return. Children need to be traumatized so that they grow up quicker, so that they skip the 20 years of should I believe for something? Should I stand by something? No. By the age of 10, that child should be completely convinced, I'm going to become a politician. I am going to end all of this. I have firmly created convictions. That's what we need to aim for. Basically, we need to do the SCP experiment, where we just abuse children for very long periods of time, so that they will grow up as a strong society. Weak children, Dev. Weak children create weak societies.
That's true.
Mr. Bob, 7370. Can't think of much to say at the moment. Kibbs is being a alcoholic. May need a stern talking to from her betters. Snexy men will be the only hot icon. That is also true, yes. Hot men remain hot men. Shadowfox 2300. It will be funny if, because of this happening, we get better games made and released faster. I mean, hey. Why not?
Oh my god, Arch. I found it. Pull that up. It's Trump as the leader of a prison gang. That'll be the future, guys.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Can felons even vote in America?
Nope, I don't think so.
Why not?
I don't know, but it's probably a good idea.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't want murderers or child rapists to be voting. I think that's fine.
Why not?
Because they're murderers and child rapists.
Yeah, but what part of that has disqualified them from the franchise?
It's inherent to the thing.
Is it?
Yes. All right. I'm not some like lefty universalist cuck who thinks that everyone should have access to the vote.
So, being a bad enough person will disqualify you from the vote.
Yeah.
What about how about we expand the
felony, yes,
definition of bad person a little bit, Dev?
Okay, yeah, I know, I understand the argument, Arch, but like, there's surely a limit.
Yeah, voting for Trudeau might be mine. Gallows. You'd have to be an idiot to think Trump was going to win based on the evidence. All that matters, jury selection. Evidence is a distant second of juror bias. You know what? Yeah, I am growing distasteful of the entire legal system. I really am. Like, juror, you can rig it too easily via jury selection. The judge, it's too easy to rig because it's just one person with his own opinions. AI judges. That's what we need. We just need a fucking robot up there who just reads the legal code, through his little bot mind and goes like, well, 1 or 0, guilty or not. And that's it. No opinions, no expansion upon the law, no philosophizing, just like, does this meet the criteria I have been fed? It would speed things up too. Marked ashamed. My prediction, Trump is projected to win, then is assassinated. I mean, self-terminated. Recounts said Biden won all along. All those that vote for Trump are put on list for advanced education. Probably not that bad, but who knows? Zontar. In Canada, young leftists want all Indian deported, while young rightists want all immigrants deported. Dev, what's the centrist position between them?
Deport them both.
I like it. Joseph Stalin. Happy Pride Month to you as well, Communist Dev.
What? I didn't say anything about Pride Month.
Your great leader. He's talking to you, Dev. Appropriate. Deans, Dev partied too hard after the Trump conviction.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the
Dev.
answer.
No, I did not.
Dev.
Stop making up lies, you fucks.
That will be the new narrative, chat. Why was Dev late to the ArchCast? He got too shit-faced drunk partying over the Trump verdict. New narrative has just dropped. Make it real. Certified. Duck was compromised during the Ukraine war because they said they were going to censor in favor of Ukraine. Well, shit. I'm running out of search engines. Mercenary 10. You have to understand something, Dev. Trump is literally martyring himself for us at this point. Remember, Trump said he wanted to lose everything just to see who was still backing him. There's a clip of this, plus ask Razor about how Trump gets revenge. He is Jesus. Jesus. Sanddoom. Dev finally got unstuck from his toilet. Damn pity. Boog, I'm sorry I'm late. I'm going to go get coffee. I'm starting to see why Dev only ever worked for the government. He's got you there, though. He really does have you there. Tanushi, Dev, after you move, will you first bless your house?
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Probably not. I'm not religious, so.
Okay. If the cupboard starts opening on their own volition, what then?
I'm gonna charge the ghost rent.
A bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it works out. Rockman, hello, Norbag. Been a fan for a long time. Love your Badab series. Instead of the EU, we should reinstate the Kalmar Union again. Yes, we should. It would be good. At least as a defensive union. Nathan Cassidy, just got my Gatekeep shirt. I like how WBS put "the gate is shut" on the label for the internet packaging. Not gonna lie. That is good. And yes, you should all get your gatekeeping shirt. It's very important you get gatekeeping shirts. Otherwise, who knows what's going to happen to you. Silver Commando 78, nice vid, Dev, big and stinky, like you in a diaper. Oh, boy.
Oh my god. Okay. Listen, Arch. Listen. You don't gotta watch all 2 hours of it, okay? You don't gotta watch all 2 hours of it. I understand, you don't care. It's too much autism. It's too much drama. I get it, okay? I completely get it. Here. I want you, just real quick. Let me just find it. Here. Okay. Here. Watch like 1 minute on stream with the chat at this specific timestamp, okay?
But Dev.
No, it's okay. Just 1 minute, Arch. You'll enjoy it.
Dev.
Go ahead. I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
I do hate Dev sometimes.
Okay, I'm gonna miss your shoes. It was kind of nice being their caretaker again. Looks at them in my hands. As hard as it was at times, they stunk horribly.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. It is what it is.
Man, big and stinky, you've got it all. 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 Big and stinky. Got it all. Stinky. Got it all. Big and stinky.
Dev secretly liked that chat. Ratio him now.
The cringiest thing to come out of that fucking drama was the revelation that Trigger Conroy was a degenerate foot fetishist.
Stinky foot fetishist.
Who did erotic RP over Discord with e-girls, and it was all feet based.
Oh, all feet based. Wow, that's bad.
A good chunk of it was just foot based, yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all, Dev. I don't think you should have shown me this. Silver Commando 78 also says, Dev would like to know when he can get Fat Diaper Wearest Pride Month. It's okay, Dev. We still stand by you and love you. Hashtag Fat Diaper Wears Lives Matter. Wearest Lives Matter.
What the fuck are you talking about? Why has the diaper thing become the new thing?
I don't know, Dev. What have you done to make it the new thing, Dev?
Nothing.
Oh, really, Dev?
Just forced memes, man. Forced memes.
Tri-Fee, I'm still angry about 70 churches being burnt to the ground over a lie following the American Floyd riots. Well, you know, St. George Floyd died and you had to pay the price.
Wait, hold on. 70 churches over the George Floyd shit? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I think that's wrong. I think what it was you hear about the Canadian residential school controversy, right?
Nope.
Okay, so TLDR, the residential school system in Canada was basically a system set up by the British government that the Canadian government inherited. And it was basically, it started out as a system of education, but only for the natives. And the idea was they were going to take native children away from their families and educate them in European ways and, you know, basically just destroy the native culture through through state mandated education.
Based. We had a system like this here in Norway, and I wish we'd bring it back.
And there were legitimate abuses in these institutions, for sure.
What you call an
However,
abuse, I call a strict guiding hand.
As time went on, and they became eventually disavowed by the Canadian government as being racist and abusive and blah blah blah. A narrative was spun up that these residential schools were actually extermination camps for natives, basically, and that they were like mass graves.
Heresy's the question.
Kids were being
Fire is
killed.
the answer.
It wasn't just a destroy them culturally. It was literally let's exterminate the native population. And that became the narrative for a while. And then there was reports
Service
that they
guaranteed
actually
citizenship.
managed to finally find mass graves at some of these old schools, because the schools are all abandoned now, out in the middle of the bush. It's like we found the mass graves on Canadian soil, and as a result, leftist activists here in Canada burned down 70 Catholic churches because it was the Catholic Church that ran the residential schools. So the leftists went fucking haywire in Canada and burned down, I think it was 70 churches here in Canada over this controversy. The issue is that it later came out that there was no mass graves, and it was all a lie. And in fact, Trudeau, as Prime Minister, was cheering this shit on. And it was all a lie. It was ridiculous. It was fucking ridiculous here when that was going on.
Well, maybe you should have continued this program instead of cancelling it, Dev. It sounded like it was doing good things, Dev.
Here we go. The 2021 Canadian church burnings. A series of vandalizations, church arsons, and suspicious fires in June and July of 2021 destroyed
Heresy's the
68
question.
Christian
Fire
churches
is
in
the
Canada.
answer.
Damn. Yep, it all happened after the reported discovery of unmarked graves at Canadian Indian residential school sites in May 2021. That was a big news story here in May 2021. The issue, ultimately, is that it was all fake. There was no actual mass graves. They were wrong.
To quote Dev, don't let the truth get in the way of the narrative. Tenacious B, what's up with V and future D&D? Been talking with the other bridge worshippers. Unless I'm mistaken, the majority of us are sympathetic to V. And he also says, no one saying we want Rags to leave, but could you and Dev call Rags out more on his criticism and gaslighting of our favorite Romanian N-word? D&D is on shaky footing right now. That's all I say at the moment. It's not on solid ground, which is incidentally why you should go to the community section and vote on what could potentially be a replacement.
Okay, I found what I was looking for. You got to pull this up, Arch. Okay, this is from CBC, which is Canada's version of the BBC, state-funded broadcaster. All right, so fighting denialists for the truth about the unmarked graves in the residential schooling. Residential
Service
schools are not
guaranteed
fake news.
citizenship.
There is no big lie or deliberate hoax. Okay, so this is obviously the leftist cope position on this topic. Just Control F, search for the word complex, COMPLEX. Okay, because I'm just gonna read this section with the word complex in it. Indigenous people do not owe anyone the bodies of their children. Residential schools are not fake news. There is no big lie or deliberate hoax. Just the complicated nature of the complex truth that denialists are trying to twist. That is an excellent new phrase that I'm surprised wasn't adopted. The complex truth. It's like, oh, we're not lying to you. It's just complex truth. It's like, well, okay, where's the complexity? There's nothing. They don't ever say anything. You know what I mean?
That is a pretty good word. Complex truth. I like it. I think it should be adopted more widely.
This has been an on and off firestorm here in Canada. It's like a political argument that gets reignited every 6 months or so, and it's basically a fucking albatross around the Canadian left right now. is how they were all cheering on churches being destroyed over fucking nothing. And this should tank the left in Canada. It's fucking ridiculous.
It should, but would it? Silver Commando 78, not so sure if Trump will win. I honestly think women could swing it for Biden, even though they think Trump was better, so they can Canada their babies. We'll see. I'm still not sure this will guarantee a Trump win, but I do think it'll push it closer. Dev, we just have all of South America, most of Mexico, fleeing their bad decisions and flooding America. And the Republicans cuck because they're the outer party, and the Democrats want in because power. Gotta close the borders. Gotta do it. There's no choice. Deathend, Dev, not talking about how New York changed the law for 1 year only so they could get Trump after 1 year. It went back to normal. I didn't even mention that, because I've heard about that too, but it's small potatoes compared to everything else. That's why I decided to skip it too.
Yeah, what was this exactly? I haven't heard any of this.
Statutes of limitation. They changed the rules on statutes of limitations for precisely 1 year to allow this case to go to court.
Oh, that's fucking stupid, man.
Yes, it is.
Jesus.
Harmonic Drive. I wish we could actually have a mature talk about kink at Pride and general gay bi stuff, but the immature people ruined it. Well, see, we can't have a mature talk about anything anymore. The left has taken that away from us. Measured conversation is a thing of the past.
Yep.
Dreyfus basically left his kids walking around right now thinking they're being treated the same as Alan Turing. Yes. Like, most people today, in fact, not even most, practically all in Western society have grown up without any real oppression. And this shows. This is why we need to introduce a little bit of artificial oppression to fix things. Yes.
Yep. I mean, you guys do know the Turing story, right? Where basically it was illegal to be gay when he was gay, so they chemically castrated him and they injected him with hormones to try and like make him not be gay anymore, and it basically drove him insane and he killed himself. So it's like, listen, there was once a time where gay people were treated legitimately badly, and it was immoral and unconscionable, and that is not today. All right, that is not 5 years ago, that is not 10 years ago, or 20 or 30. All right, like, remember the bald guy, Arch, who was stealing women's clothes and he was working for the Office of Nuclear Energy?
Yes.
That guy?
Yes, I do remember him.
Yeah, so the reason he even got to such a lofty position in the first place is because I found an old interview of him from 2011, I think, where he was talking about his gay conversion therapy experience his parents made him go through in 1999. And he described a conversion therapy process that was in use in the 1960s, but no one in the United States, no conversion therapist used it by 1999. It was done. So he describes this barbaric process of basically, hurting him and exposing him to, gay images, basically. And conversion therapists, by the time he would have gone through this, had completely different techniques. Now, conversion therapy doesn't work. It's all bullshit. But he was very clearly lying. He was very clearly lying, and everyone who came out and said, "I think this doesn't line up, guys," they were all shouted down as a homophobe, as a bigot, or as if you were gay and you came out and said this guy's lying, you got shouted down for attacking someone of your own tribe. Like, it was a whole fucking thing. It is disgusting how these people will use legitimate grievances from the past, times when things actually were bad, and evil things were actually done to innocent people. They'll say, well, I'm the same type of person as them from 50 years ago or 100 years ago. Therefore, I suffered the same as they did. And it's like, no, you didn't. No, this is all stolen valor shit. Doesn't matter if you're gay. If you're black in America, you didn't suffer slavery. Shut the fuck up. All right? All of these people are evil.
Stolen valor. I like the usage of that term here.
It makes complete sense. Like if you were to talk to an actual survivor of slavery, all right, and like he escapes some country in the Middle East and he comes over to the West and he's like, thank God I'm out of there. Oh my God. And then he sees like African Americans and they're like, solidarity. You think he'd feel that shit? There's no fucking way.
Well, this is one of the reasons why blacks in Africa usually don't like blacks from America.
Yeah. One of many reasons, actually.
SP Elite,
I mean,
you believe Trump got a fair trial in New York City?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, good.
This one seems fucked up, yeah.
The Hillian Jalo, make the video on complete erosion of trust. You need it now more than ever.
Yep, that'll be coming. Why is it that right-wingers don't believe in institutions anymore? That'll be a video I make.
Sven Haglen.
There's some good reasons and some bad reasons, but nonetheless, it's happening, and we should talk about it.
Good reasons. Good reasons, mostly. Sven Haglen, America 50 years ago. He's rich. Let's bend over backwards to keep him out of court. America today. He used to be president. Get him in jail now. Well, other rich people can still get out of court. It's just this one's a bit of an exception.
I don't know about that. Hunter Biden's still on trial.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He is.
Deans has raised his said, and Biden is an unconvicted felon. SP Elite, his judge donated to Biden. The judge's daughter works for the Democrats. The judge gave very biased and basically rigged instructions. Manhattan voted 92% Democrat. Yes, it was not a very good trial. Mark Deshamed, the trial is the end of the American Republic and the beginning of the American dictatorship. When the crown falls to invaders, Canada will be annexed and give Puerto Rican rights. I hope we experience Fallout where they just shoot the Canadians.
Let's not do that.
Mercenary 10, Trump is unstoppable. He just won the election, full stop. This is going to backfire on the deep state. Bad. They will try to help Trump to Minecraft himself like they did with JFK. Key word being try. Trump has former special forces on his security team. He better. Zero Firewater, Dev, the purple cruise ship, is denying that the communists who board her aren't still communists, even though the left are known for lying and infiltrating. You're part of the problem, Dev. This is true.
Yeah, but everyone lies and infiltrates, alright? The Islamists do it, the right-wingers do it, the communists do it, the fascists do it. This is not anything new.
But must you guide them into my living room, Dev?
I don't. I haven't had Brianna Wu on this show.
Ministry of Wrong Think, no Dev. The secret documents controversy is not cope. There were documents included in the photo that were not listed in official statements to Congress. That absolutely was something dirty happening.
Oh god, Arch, you want me to go into this or you want to just keep going?
Just keep going. It sounds
we can
like
go
a
into
rabbit
it,
hole.
but it'll be another 15 minutes of bullshit. We can go into it.
Subject Noble, the left, everything is political. The left and Dev, the trials are fair, not a witch hunt. The system is working, guys.
When did I say that?
Yeah, to be fair, Chad, this is the first time we've got Dev to admit that the system is not working.
It's because there's evidence of it this time.
I just need to put that in chat as well. There we go. Cuban 992. Remember, never respect the opinions of fat people under 455, and leftists neither should be taken seriously. So, John, Dev, there are two kinds of people. Those who can extrapolate results from incomplete data, and those who can't. Dev, that was your opportunity to say those who can't, to prove that you weren't the former.
Oh, did the super chat not have that part in there?
No.
I don't see the super chat. I can't see them, man.
That was the trick. That's why I gave you a pause there.
I didn't notice a pause, sorry.
Dev, how would you feel if you didn't have breakfast today?
Service guarantee. guarantee citizenship.
Marked ashamed. Counter-revolutionary action is the highest crime one can commit against the party. Well, yes, unironically, counter-revolutionary action tends to be the worst crime that the revolutionary government takes a stance on. And Marky Shanemull says, Dev, you already know there is no argument, there is only the struggle. The struggle snuggle?
I don't agree with that. Like, there are people who believe that, but they all inevitably fail given enough time.
Phantom Lord 07. Dev, you realize if you search outside of the scope Baron's room, it invalidates the warrant. You really thought a New York jury would be fair?
Wait, what is this in reference to?
I don't know.
Like when I heard search outside of the room, I was thinking documents case, but then it says New York jury. I mean, I actually didn't think a New York jury would be fair.
Yeah, give Dev
I also thought that this was like the weakest case of the bunch.
Dev knew that the New Yorkers could not be trusted, relatively speaking. Sujad, Dev, Cohen did all the payments to Daniels without Trump's knowledge. The guy who changed the law is now being accused of the same thing. That's kind of funny.
I have to look into that. Don't know the truth of that one.
Yeah, see, like it's... Normally, in a situation like this, you would first and foremost... I mean, normally you'd go after Cohen first, which I think they did. But normally, to go after Trump, you would then obviously have to prove that Cohen did it with Trump's instructions. Otherwise, there would be no case, you would think. I don't know if they ever did that. Probably they did. Maybe they did. Dean's the star witness. Michael Cohen stole 60 grand.
Did he?
Well, I'm presuming that's the hush money.
Yeah, was that like his skim off the top as payment for being the middleman, maybe?
Mark H. V used to get menstrual pains every other
Service
Thursday.
guarantees citizenship.
What?
Did you?
He said V.
Yeah.
V's not here.
Well, I'm asking. Zero Water, also Dev, just because you think your eyes are lying to you and can't recognize patterns doesn't mean everyone else isn't able to.
Oh my god, I hate the pattern fucking bullshit. It's such a dumb argument.
I don't know, Dev. I'm seeing the patterns. In this case, they all seem to be leading in the same direction, Dev.
Listen, a constellation in the sky is a pattern, and they're very fun to look at.
Oh.
They don't. The Big Dipper is not actually a giant fucking ladle.
All right, Dev. Show me your sources.
Of the Big Dipper not being a giant fucking ladle?
Yeah. You're gonna have to, like, show me. You gotta go there. You can tell me these are planets. There's empty space in between. You're gonna have some satellite shots at least, surely, Dev.
Sure. I can show you, like, the... Here, hold on. Give me a second. I'll show it to you.
Somehow I feel as if this is not going to meet my standard of evidence.
Probably not.
Thomas Hosea, now, do I curse this ArchCast or do I not? That is indeed the question of the day, my friend. It's a good ArchCast. Go on. Mark James, so Ferguson argued that violent video games don't make people violent, but violent people are drawn to violent video games. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
I recall, like, back during the height of the Jack Thompson era, there was a study that said that people who played violent video games, they did become more violent themselves, but it was only directly after the game, and the effect basically disappeared like an hour after they stopped playing. Which kind of makes sense. You have like adrenaline, and you're like playing like a crazy match or something. You know, it makes sense.
Yeah, maybe. Mercenary 10. Also, Arch, Dev, stay away from any Sonichu medallions from Christian. Look what happened to Nick Nikita. He put that on and it went downhill from there. Seriously, I heard he got into a cult and everyone that got one is either hurt, jailed, or dead. Yeah, I'm not touching any Sonichu medallions.
You know what? I kind of want one now. I want to tempt fate.
Okay,
I want to be the guy. I want to be the guy who conquered the Sonichu medallion.
Yes, or you'll be another data point. There you go, chat. Dev will have a public P.O. box in the near future. Send him a load of Sonichu medallions. Let's see if he survives. Duane Olson, this isn't a 77-year-old man to never Trumpers. This is a 77-year-old orange, almost Hitler. This case is already insane. They will sentence to the max. We'll see. I mean, that would be crazy, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Heresy's the question.
Ministry of
Fire
Wrong
is the
Think. The
answer.
34 charges is misleading. There's 34 counts of lying on records because the same false number was repeated consistently through the record. That's why he didn't beat any of them. They're all the same charge. Oh.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah, makes sense.
Vodka Latte, they could always put him on house arrest, which is probably unironically what they would do. Yes, they would give him a ankle bracelet and put him on house arrest because it wouldn't be safe to put him in jail.
Yeah. Just keep him in Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, no. The terrible, terrible jail. Stephen Morris, the prosecution claimed he used his personal funds. Well, that would actually make him not guilty, though, wouldn't it? That would be dumb. Dreyfus, after the Epstein death, if Trump was hurt or actually killed in prison, would people actually believe it was planned, or did it immediately ignite violence? Violence. Like, if Trump got killed in jail, there is no fucking way in everlasting hell the MAGA crowd would go like, oh yeah, that was an accident. No fucking way. No fucking way.
Yeah. Even if it was an accident, or it was like real suicide or something, they would never believe it.
No, not a million. Like,
here's the thing, though. I do think it would be the end of the MAGA movement, though, because there's no one else to take over. Like, who else is there but Trump? It's all him. Like, Trump has no successor.
I think it would be his son.
You think Barron would step up? I don't think he wants to. I don't think he cares.
Not Barron. Isn't it the other guy? I mean his son-in-law, technically, I think.
Oh, shit, who are you talking about? The Jewish guy?
I don't fucking know either. I just know he has one.
I know there's like Donald Trump Jr. Was it Alex Trump? There's another guy. And there's Barron. Barron's the youngest. I know everyone keeps saying like Barron will be the emperor. And it's like, no, I don't think he will. I saw Sargon's video on that. Barron being Caesar. I don't know about that. Eric, not Alex. Eric Trump, yeah.
Eric. All right. Because I do think that, in all due likelihood, even if he wouldn't want to, he would be elevated as an icon of the movement. At that point, it would be the kind of, like, explosive thing that couldn't be stopped. So, John, that Georgia call keeps being misrepresented. Even the paper who broke the story had to retract it. He didn't ask them to cheat. He wanted an audit.
Yep. So here's the thing, right? Like, that is what's currently being decided by the Supreme Court. Because there are two interpretations. Was he asking them to find him votes and he's asking them to just manufacture them? Or was he saying, this is how many I need to win, please audit because I might be able to win this? Those are two different things being asked, and they could be asked by the same statement. One of them would be legitimate. The other one would be him using his presidential powers for a personal reason and would make him not immune. So that is what the Supreme Court is currently deciding. We'll know what they say eventually. But they're probably just going to ride out the timer, I think.
The Hillian Juggalo says, so Dev, are you saying and then for no reason at all? Yes, he even said that.
Yep.
Mark Shame, but since Ferguson only used published data, Anderson took unpublished data, I'm presuming, to make the argument that games do cause violence and government intervention is needed. Guess which got Congress's support? The latter one. And Defend, a writer at the Federalist wants a list of Democrats to prosecute. Tim Pool also told Trump in an interview that the right wants prosecutions of Democrats for their crimes. I mean, it's probably going to happen, yeah. I mean, there's probably plenty of Democrats out there with... I mean, if you can push the Trump trial this far, if you apply this level of stretch to Trump, I'm sure there's a few Democrats out there with equally stretchable crimes.
Yep.
Zero Firewater.
Okay. Real quick. Okay, so the oral arguments for the presidential immunity case were heard on April 25th. Trump's attorney argued that if structured as an official act, the president could not be charged for selling nuclear secrets to a foreign adversary, accepting a bribe, ordering the military to stage a coup to retain power, or ordering a political assassination because of absolute immunity. He must be successfully impeached and removed by Congress before he can be charged for these things. That was Trump's lawyer's argument. The state's argument is that there are appropriate safeguards to assure a president cannot be prosecuted for most acts done while in their official capacity. Let's see here.
Heresy's the question. Fire
The
is
conservative
the
justices
answer.
on the court appeared to believe it was necessary to review whether the specific indictments against Trump fell into private or public actions, and sending the case back to the lower courts to make the determination
Service guarantees citizenship.
prior to jury trials in the other cases is an appropriate action. So it seems like they're kind of tossing the ball around, hoping to run the timer out, because they don't want to have to decide this. And frankly, I don't blame them. It's kind of uncharted territory constitutionally, you know?
Mm-hmm. Where was I? Oh, yes. Jesus, Dev, says Slayer Firewater. I know you hated Trump, but to throw a party to get shit-faced, drunk, and oversleep for the ArchCast, shame on you. I'm ashamed to think a communist had principles. This will be the new narrative now.
That's the new. I don't even drink. I haven't had alcohol in like over a decade.
You do now. Zero Firewater also says the degeneracy goes even deeper, with Dev admitting it was a drunk diaper party. Disgusting. Lazy One has been in for 4 months. He has a knife. Police. Me ne frego. I wish.
Pretty much.
Harmonic Drive. Devon Arch. The police and people get so cucked by our government and it still tries to claim the right wing equals evil. Denounce everyone. Hate my country. I feel like we have a German here.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Listen, when I say the right wing, I'm not saying it with derision in my voice or anything. It's just what they are, which is fine. You know, I view it neutrally.
Oliver Nord, to be fair, if there's a pile-up, arresting the guy on top of the pile is a reasonable first step. How often will the bottom bitch be armed? Witcher. Okay, I meant the Witcher, okay. I should probably remind everybody that the things are running, but it's probably late now. Oh no, Boog is already adding into Super Chat to the MLP Smasher Pass, so people maybe know. I should put that on screen. I should actually tell... Yeah, I should order a thing for that. Sajad, Dev, behind every pro-migration NGO, charity, etc. are the people that we cannot speak about on YouTube. From Spectra and onwards, they're just as guilty of these killings as prog politicians.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and blame the tribe. That seems too tinfoil hat to me.
No one says Michael Stunsberger, one of the guys leading Pax Europa, and likely target of the attack is basically German Tommy Robinson. Oh, well, that makes me like him a lot better, actually. Knowing nothing else about him.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Marked ashamed Corey Harris was driving in his Zune trial. His charges were driving with a suspended
Heresy's the
license.
question.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh my
That's
god.
brilliant.
Yeah, so he had a hearing that was done over Zoom, and he's parking his car, all right? He's backing in, and he calls into the fucking trial, and the judge is like, are you fucking serious? And the guy doesn't realize what he's done until, like, 30 seconds after he's put the car in park. And he was like, oh, God. And the judge was like, listen, you need to report yourself to the nearest jail right fucking now. Or else I'm going to send every police officer in the city after you.
Oh, yeah. That was remarkably dumb. Zero Firewater, didn't they burn down the churches with the blessing of the government? Dev, aren't you glad you voted for Fidel Castro's son, Chairman Trudeau? Yeah, Dev.
I
you
did
voted for
not
this, Dev.
vote for him in this election.
Dev, this was you. This was your Dev. Dev.
Nope.
Blood on your hands, Dev.
Nope. I didn't vote for him in 2019. I didn't vote for him in 2021. Dev is innocent.
Dreyfus, also regarding immigration and the current situation. Was Libya a mistake? Should Gaddafi have been killed? He was a monster, but so was Saddam. Yes, but Libya had more oil reserves. My position is simple. Europe and America should just go full Pax West and just enforce its will upon the rest of the world at this point. Simple as.
Based.
Simple fucking as. Amadeo Camargo, Cohen took out a home loan to pay Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels blames her irregularities in testimony on the demon she worships. Trump is a germaphobe. Why would he touch a porn star? Well, you could have cleaned it up first.
Yeah, okay, hold on. If that comment's supposed to say Trump would never have sex with a porn star, I don't buy that for a fucking second, dude.
Medrail, they act like they will always be in power. Well, because that is the plan, for them to always be in power. The only question is whether or not we'll be able to stop them.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Silver Camaro 78, Germany made possession of CP a misdemeanor. Yes, they did, but I will actually defend this one.
Really?
I will actually
Really? Hold
defend
on.
this one.
Okay.
Because possession means that if you see CP somewhere and you hand it to the police, you're a criminal now.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so I actually get that, but in the current political climate, it's very easy to look at that and think to themselves, oh, I see. So there's a little bit more complexity there. It's a complex truth, as Dev would say.
Oh god, is that going to be the new thing?
Yep. Tonushi, creepy sex is mandatory. Making love is forbidden.
Pretty much.
Zero Firewater, Dev, address the allegations of your weird diaper parties. Also, Archley, I want Superchats to go to Pony. Very well. Well, Dev, what about your diaper allegations?
They do not exist.
Okay, $10 more to My Little Pony Smash and Pass. I have counted them.
Yeah, you're doing the hashtag Kibbs thing, right? Where he basically just allows chat to super chat money towards a specific goal.
Yes.
And if it hits a thing, you'll do it. Yeah, I'm doing that too, but I might automate it.
I have automated it, but I don't usually run the system on ArchCast streams.
Okay, you should actually send me what you've done for it then, because I'm kind of curious. I want to see how, like, if I could just steal what you've done maybe instead of doing it myself.
Sure, Dev. Once you pay me the development cost for it.
Oh, you actually paid someone to develop it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Nightmare Arch is based. Bring back whorehouses. Unironically, yes, and tax them too. Listen, you want to deal with people smuggling? Make it so that the police need to check whether or not the person is there legally. Voila, like, virtually all problems connected to prostitution, be it spreading of STDs, like AIDS, etc., people smuggling, pimping, all of this can easily be solved by just making it legal and regulated. It's not hard. Dogirl says, good job, Arch, showing Dev the light. So you can lead Dev to water, and sometimes, if you're firm enough, you can make him drink.
You can lead me to water if
Heresy's
there's
the
actually
question.
water there to
Fire
be led
is
to.
the answer.
Yes.
Heat says, hello, Dev, always fun to have you here. Dev and Arch should exchange favorite desserts sometimes.
What is my favorite dessert? I'll think about that.
Chocolate mousse for me. When it's perfectly made, it's just best thing ever.
I'm not much of a dessert guy, to be honest.
Oh, really? With that kind of a waistline? Hint it.
Yeah, I get it. I just eat a lot of rice. Let me think.
Do you eat uncooked rice, Dev? Is that why you just swell? You know, you drink afterwards? Like,
Service guarantees citizenship.
Like ice cream is pretty good, but even then, I don't have it that often. I don't know.
Heresy's the question. Fire
weird.
is the
You going to
answer.
talk about Brandon Herrera campaign? Probably not, because I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, same.
Thumb ugly, mini Fritos or whatever called evil enough. Deal? Mini Fritos or whatever called deal enough. Deal. I have no idea what this is either. Descend, Dev misquoting Trump. Oh no.
Oh, did I?
J-Rod, after the 2020 election, everything that has been done, how does anyone believe Trump will be allowed to be president again? Well, we'll see.
Okay, hold on. I have a question for you, Arch. And answer honestly, no jokes, no memes, okay? What is the ratio that Trump would have to lose the election for you to say, okay, this is legit?
Well, it depends on how it looks like.
Like if it was like 51-49, he lost to Biden.
Yeah, he
I
lost
assume
50.
you're going to be like,
that'd be whatever. Let's say he lost by 20%. And then there's a lot of footage of trucks at 2 a.m. I would be skeptical. Like, the percentage doesn't really matter. It's the events surrounding it.
well, here's the thing, right? Like, I recall seeing those videos too. I was there with you on the stream in 2020, right? Like, I remember this stuff. I remember seeing the 2 a.m. trucks arrive with boxes of ballots, and it looks like someone sneakily recorded it from their phone, like halfway down the alley. And it's like, what's going on? Look at all the fake ballots that Biden is injecting into the system. And it turns out they were just being transported from like another location to be counted, and they were all fine. Like, viral videos are not proof.
You say that, Dev. You say that.
Yes, I do.
And yet... Dryfeet says, I will say, Deb, I had no idea who this Conroy guy was, but now for some reason I know about this autistic stranger, weird fetishes, good god man.
Hope you enjoyed the video. It was a lot of fun to make.
Burn Person, Dev, literally nobody cares about Trucker Conroy. Talk about Trucker Convoy already, you damn
Trucker
reef.
Convoy. Yeah, so guess what, guys? I've made your Trucker Convoy video. Just turns out that I was slurring the words all this time. It's actually Trucker Conroy.
Skullthrone 888, Trump will never see the inside of a prison. Either Biden pardons him or Trump will appeal. I doubt Biden wants the precedent that a former president can go to prison, considering what his last boss did. Who knows? Skullthrone 88, voting for Trudeau should be a felony, Dev. I, by and large, agree, yes. Maybe that is how we finally get Dev. Maybe that's how you finally get him. I think so. I wouldn't think that would be too much of a stretch. We should make it one of those generational crimes, though, because, you know, there might be friends and family of Dev that are of suspicious political affiliations as well.
I do have an actual communist in the family, a very far left person who lives out in the middle of nowhere and works on a weed grow op and refuses to talk to me because I'm an alt-right MAGA chud, according to her.
Hell, after listening to Dev's 2-hour foot video, I support all the Dev bullying. Good.
Big and stinky, guys.
Deans, Dev has become a diaper fur. Sad to see. Is it?
No.
Is it? Yeah, no. He doesn't think it's sad to see. Dev will stand on his 2 feet here and accept this.
On the big and stinky feet?
Dev is willing to accept this one. Popatot, just got done with your latest 2-hour internet insanity since Jim died. That's what I call your deep dives, Dev. Of Chugga. Dear sweet Jesus, it makes you wonder who the hell you can trust anymore. What a miserable situation.
It is a miserable situation. That guy got completely fucked. And it was ridiculous. Also, Jim's not dead.
No, despite the claims to the contrary. Harris enjoyed it. I can no longer defend Dev in chat after the foot. That's fair enough. That is a bit much. That's true.
You know what? Listen, all of you guys should go and watch that video after you're done here today.
Black 1917, hail Archchrist, our Lord and Savior. I am indeed all of those things. Sven Holgren, it's problematic. For whom is it problematic? Not for us. Anime Document, really, my new favorite word is denialist. A Devian denialist.
Denialist. I posted the video in chat. Go watch it after the stream, okay? It's time for foot fetish. It's time for foot fetish hour.
Zero Firewater, if these weird diaper allegations came out now, I wonder what the other fucked up shit he's doing that hasn't come out yet, Dev. Are you also taking the dog pill while doing your diaper shenanigans? Dog pill and diaper. And Zero Firewater, also, Dev, the fortification was so bad it created the letter F.
What? I don't get that one.
Black 1917. I don't think there are enough feminists to swing for the Dems, even other Democrats are turning against over the economy. Well, yeah, the housewife vote might go against Biden just because of the economy, I guess. The inflated prices of merchandise, food. Decent. Democrats moving to remove Trump's Secret Service. I wouldn't be surprised. Johnson Smith, I actually like how much Arch and Dev agrees. It's just a degree when they don't. Yes, me and Dev agree on many things, except for the points where Dev is wrong. Black 917. Not only is the guy who changed the law not being accused under it, but he's saying that it's unconstitutional that it's being applied to him. Well, of course. I changed the law to target somebody else. Why are you using it against me? Sven Algren, putting on the medallion is like unsheathing a cursed sword. You don't go Sonichu unless there's no other choice. Maybe it'll give you superpowers in the short term, though. Binary Eclipse, America getting awfully close to civil war, and if it happens, that's when the world starts getting real scary. The Third American Civil War. And then it scrolls.
Third? Wait,
yeah.
When was the second one?
Against the British, of course. The first one was against the British. The second one was against the other Americans.
Okay.
Silly Dev. Doesn't even know how many American Civil Wars there's been. Black 917, Arch, your thoughts on Uvalde, parents' new lawsuit against Activision, Call of Duty, Meta, Instagram, Daniel Defenders. Don't know. I don't know anything about it, sadly. Thomas is here. I want Trump to be sworn in from a jail cell, but just raises his hand through the bars and puts his hand on the Bible through the food slot in a door. It would be brilliant imagery. I can't deny it. JJ Sickman, would it be smart for Trump to pardon both himself and Biden at the same time? I doubt he would, though. No, he should go after Biden in that case. He should do everything he promised he would do to Hillary. But he should show up to the next debate wearing a jumpsuit, an orange jumpsuit. He absolutely should. Everyone would lose their fucking minds over that. If he walks on the debate stage in a jumpsuit, the moderator would Mr. Trump, we can't have this, Mr. Trump. And people would laugh their asses off. All of the Democrats would scream, he's being a bad person, he's being disingenuous. He would set the world afire. And all he needed to do was just fucking stand there. Boog, do a Fallout Equestria D&D campaign. MLP Smash and Pass. No. Listen, if I'm charging you $5,000 for The Witcher, you don't want to know my price for a Fallout, for a fucking Fallout or a D&D campaign.
$5,000 to play The Witcher? Isn't that a good game?
Yeah, I hate Witcher.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I hate The Witcher.
I thought they were all good games, to be honest.
Oh, they're awful, all of them.
I think you just don't like RPGs, man.
Not ashamed. ATF covers doorbell cameras before the expatriate someone. This is like the massacre of Glencoe. I don't know what it is. Black 917. Hi, Boog. Hashtag MLP Smash or Pass. Alright. More money to the Smash and Pass for the ponies. Can't help me. Deans. Dev is Trudeau's biggest supporter, figuratively and literally.
No.
Magnus, Pax Americana, Pax Mundus. Yes. Psyche gives 5 ArchCast memberships. Thank you very much, sir. Alex Adamson, Brandon Herrera is their AK-50 guy who made an AK-50 shot BMG. He's the based gun tuber who's running for Congress. Well, that does sound funny. Yes, support, obviously. The Green Skull, aren't herring in wine sauce or eels in sour cream? Neither, I just jump out the window. Black 1917, under New York law, Trump gets one automatic appeal. Oh, well, that's nice. And Animate Acumen, I'm already watching VTubers. If I want to see gross foot fetishism, I'm surrounded by them to my dismay. Well, Dev's kind of a VTuber.
We all kind of are, to be honest. We have the little bouncing avatars, you know?
Yeah.
We're just not women. We don't cultivate simps. That's the difference.
Well.
I promise you, almost no one watches my videos because they are sexually attracted to me. All right? Doesn't happen. That is the majority of VTuber viewers.
Dev might still be mentally manipulating his audience with this stuff. I can't tell for sure. Right, that is all of the Super Chats for today. Let's see. I haven't rated people in ages. Do you have a stream? You don't have a stream, Dev?
Nope. I think I'll be chilling out today. I'll probably get... You know what? I didn't really stream for a week while I was doing the Chugga Conroy thing. I'll probably get back to streaming on Monday. In fact, I know I will, because next week is Summer Games Fest. The replacement for E3. So I'll be streaming that instead.
In that case,
that also means, Arch, I probably can't be here next weekend. I gotta check the schedule, but probably not.
Okay,
Sorry.
I've got a guest next week, so that's fine.
Oh, you do? Who's gonna be on?
That'll be a surprise.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Right, chat. Oscultron 888. VTubers should not be covered by the Geneva Convention. Correct. And on that point, since there's nobody else streaming right now that I find interesting, I've had a recent hobby of finding tiny YouTube channels and checking them out. Because, you know, tiny YouTube channels are the best channels. Because they're just people who are doing this for fun. It's like an early 2000s thing. So, you know what? Since we don't have anybody to raid today, you are all going to go harass a tiny YouTube channel. Be nice, chat.
Oh, who is it?
Moss is their name.
I have no clue who they are.
Oh, that's the point.
Yeah. I'm actually looking. Yeah, who's currently online that I know anyway? I mean, Kibbs is online. Stardust is online. Mahler's online. Queeman's online.
Describe
They've
tiny.
all got audiences, though.
Sub 10,000 at least. Usually sub 5,000.
Yeah, because Kibbs has 33,000 subs. Stardust has, I think, 12,000.
Service guarantees citizenship.
I think Queeman's doing really well for himself nowadays. Yeah, he's doing okay.
And I will, of course, be away next week, by the way, chat. So we'll be picking up on Saturday.
Wait, you will be? Oh, okay. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. You'll be away next week? Arch, what do you mean?
Until next time, chat. Thank you all very much for watching, and for your generous donations. And I will see you all again next Saturday, and probably not until then.